This video contains information that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are a viewer and are triggered or shocked by images and need a warning prior to every clip or story being discussed, then please unsubscribe from my channel immediately. My channel covers the harsh reality of even the worst crimes imaginable and is for adults only. For those of you who fit into this category, take this message as your warning and don't watch any further. Hey, look at that, all the freaks wearing their gear. I'm sure there's some freaks up there that aren't even part of the channel anymore, but hey, there are people who, over time, I know Juju Positive, I sent Juju Positive husband a hoodie. Okay, there's another one. I keep finding these ones that are sideways. And I think if you have an Apple phone, which, you know, they blow, if you send me an image, they're always sideways. But I don't know it, so then when I see them on the show, even when you look at them, they're right side up. But in this program, they're sideways, like that mug you can, well, I don't know if you can see it. But, yeah. Yep, everybody's got to get pictures. If you have a mug or anything like that, send it in. Yeah, so I was looking at, some old missing persons cases, and randomly the first couple that showed up were in Australia, so I figured, hey, why don't I look up a couple more of those old ones? I mean, they're missing persons. They're kids. And I'm sure they probably think they're not still alive at this point, but they are missing persons. They haven't never been found. So I thought I'd give that a shot. Yeah, well, you just hit the, you can buy them on Teespring. Yeah. So I don't really know much about it. I just did all the collection of. I mean, believe it or not, it was some of those older ones were in newspapers, articles that I found. So, hello. Yeah, this definitely, the title of this video will definitely not be, I should have said something about Morpheus in all caps, and then won't be discussed tonight, but some missing persons in Australia will be. You know, that maybe that would have got people over here, but yeah. Yeah, I'll just do what I want to do, Zozo. How about that? Whatever comes to my mind, I'll do it. Let's see. I mean, you're always sending me Australia missing persons. You know, I'll just end up doing the ones that I want to do. All right, so let's do this one right here, and we'll just get started. I hate the "you should do this, you should do that." I hate that comment. Just send me an email if you want me to look at something. All right, here we go. I think it's under, here we go, Australian missing. So the first one is going to be Joanne Ratcliffe and Kirste Gordon. I don't know if it's Kirste, I think it's Kirste Gordon, probably. Kirste. Yeah. So I'm going to turn this down a little bit here. And then yeah, and I'm probably, like, if there's podcasts made on these, I don't know. And if there's a podcast, I'm sure they have all the inside scoop and information. I don't have that. Okay? I just have the basic story in the what was in the newspaper. Yeah, so this first one is Joanne Ratcliffe and Kirste Gordon in Australia in 1973, about 7 years before I was actually there. And I'm sure before Zozo was even born. How about that? So this is on August 28, 1973. Monday, I'm just reading your comments in there. Monday, the South Australian government offered a $5,000 reward tonight in an attempt to solve the disappearance of 11-year-old Joanne Ratcliffe, and 4-year-old Kirste Gordon. The girls vanished in a crowd of almost 13,000 people during a football match at Adelaide Oval on Saturday. So I think that's actually Australian rules football, because it was in an oval. I don't know if it's actually football. Would be soccer. Police believe they were abducted. The premier, Mr. Dumpston, said last night that he was shocked and sad to think that two defenseless children could disappear in such circumstances. The government would pay a $5,000 reward for information leading to the arrest and conviction of anyone responsible for having abducted the girls. Hopes of finding the two girls alive faded after an intensive police hunt. The chief of CIB, Superintendent N.R. Lenton, said, "We do not know whether they are dead or alive. We cannot look into the future. We can just hope." The main suspect remains a brown, hatted, stooped man who was seen helping two girls. Helping two girls entice kittens from a shed behind the John Cresswell stand. Oh, that's just so classic. Superintendent Lenton made a plea for the abductor to release the girls, then seek psychiatric help. "We ask that he consider the welfare of the children and their parents," he said. The man is described as middle-aged, slightly built, about 5'8", wearing a wide-brim hat, a gray check sport coat, and brown trousers. A special CIB squad of 40 police officers, Senior Inspector C.E. Lehman, was formed to coordinate the search for the girls. Inspector Lehman said police checked known sexual deviants, it says, as well as 440 reports and calls from the public. This morning, Mr. Ratcliffe retraced the steps of his daughter and her companion with police at the Oval. Twice he broke down and collapsed while he was on the ground. I mean, that's just total nightmare, you know. I mean, you know what's weird is, I know I don't have any kids, right? But there's been times where Blue has got out the back over here, and you just can't find him, and you just start getting this crazy panicking feeling. I can't imagine how it would be with a child. You know, I just start yelling, "Hey, Blue, where are you?" Running around, and then he came running back from like way down the street. One time he was down out in the middle of the road, and cars had to like stop, and then he came running It was just ridiculous. So, I mean, just picture how that would be. You know, the kids are missing, and they're just, you know, the father's retracing their steps. Total nightmare. And that's Kirsty Gordon right there, and the other child isn't in the picture. And it looks like the divers are searching the River Torrens for the girls. Let's see. So where was this? This is Adelaide Oval. Yeah, so it's Australian. I guess you could probably fit a soccer field in there if you wanted to, but I don't think that's what they were talking about. So this is the area. I'm sure it looks a little different now, but okay. So then the next day in the paper, missing girls, 12 were quizzed. 12 people were brought in by Australian police yesterday for questioning about the abduction of 2 Adelaide girls, but the search chief inspector Colin Lehman said last night that all had been released and the hunt for the girls was still on. Just a second. Yeah, I'm kind of struggling building my my new scene because I found out that, you know, Streamlabs OBS, the other one that I use, it's actually got a lot more functions than the one I've been using currently, and it allows you to slide things around on the fly. I mean, it's pretty cool. So I don't know. I'll be working on it on the side, though, that's for sure. Yeah, I know it's an Australian rules football, but they just said football, and football is what everybody calls soccer around the world. Yeah, I know what it is. I can see it by looking at it. Thanks. Let's see. But the search chief inspector, Colin Lehman, said last night that all had been released and the hunt for the girl was still on. There is still no strong clue on the disappearance of Joanne Ratcliffe, 11, and Kirsty Gordon, 4, from the Adelaide Oval on Saturday. The head of the Adelaide CIB, Superintendent Noel Linton, said last night he believed the $25,000 ransom demanded by a telephone caller was a hoax. A man speaking with a slow, deep Australian voice told the parents of Kirsty Gordon on Monday night that he would kill the children unless he got $25,000 by Thursday. The police are still hunting for the main suspect in the abduction, a man about 5 feet 8 inches tall, of middle age and dressed in a broad-brimmed hat and check sports coat, who was seen talking to the girls near the Oval car park about the time they disappeared. The 12 people questioned by police fitted the description of the man, but after questioning, police released them and said that no one had been charged. So that didn't lead to anything. Then a couple days later, let's see, where is it? A 13-year-old boy has told police he saw a man in a broad-brimmed hat dragging 2 girls from the Adelaide Oval on Saturday. This new lead was announced yesterday by Senior Inspector C.E. Lehman, officer in charge of the case. What do you mean you'll see me tomorrow? Are you taking off? Zozo, come on. I've been there. I know what an Australian rules football stadium looks like. They're oval, right? I'm just saying if they wanted to, they could fit a soccer field in there. And when they call it football, that's what, the word football isn't normally what they call it, right? I mean, football is what people call soccer all around the world. Spy Night Friday, what's that? What's Spy Night Friday? I'm just waiting for... I can't even see anybody chatting. It's like the slowest thing I've ever seen. Huh? What do you mean? What's this shh for? I don't get it. It's confusing. All right, everybody's here. Oh, okay. Well, I was trying to figure out what the shh means. Oh, there goes my stomach. Who does? I don't even know what you guys are talking about at all. So this is why I shouldn't even read chat whatsoever. But anyways, Blue and Chloe just got baths and showers, so they're running around. Oh, there's Chloe. Here you can see her do her little... See that? Look at her. She's like doing the thing where she's trying to get dry. Oh, yeah. Oh, they disappeared. They disappeared. Oh, wait. Thanks, Meredith McKenzie. Thank you. Appreciate it.
I'll be traveling for a bit, so wanted to donate before I get busy. Upside down face.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you very much. That was very kind. What did the other... It said... Huh. What was the other comment? I thought I just heard a whole completely other comment. Yeah, well... see, Blue's trying to get the other blanket. He wants to dry himself off with this other blanket. We threw it up on the couch. No. Okay. Right. All right. Well, let me get back to this. All right, because got distracted there for a minute. But thank you very much, Meredith. It's a good start to the evening. It's the best start that I've had in a long time. In terms of a start, you know. Okay, let me get back. I saw a man abduct... See, look at this. Now there's a witness here at that football game. Just think how creepy that is. I just watched... there's a new show called... like Monster something or other on Netflix. It's pretty good, but it's also, you know, kind of political a little bit. And there was an episode that was sort of like that. Lou's is trying to get away from Chloe, looks like. He jumped up on the couch. All right. A 13-year-old boy has told police he saw a man in a broad-brimmed hat dragging 2 girls from the Adelaide Oval on Saturday. This new lead was announced yesterday by Senior Inspector C.E. Lehman, officer in charge of the case. A small girl answering the description of Kirste Gordon, 4, was seen tucked under the right arm of the man. A struggling, kicking girl fitting the description of Joanne Ratcliffe, 11, was seen being dragged by her arm by the man from the Oval. I mean, but where was everybody else? Maybe this was during the game and nobody was walking around. But, I mean, how would that have happened? The man stooped and wearing a brown broad-brim hat, gray check coat, and brown trousers is identical in description to the man seen helping 2 girls to entice kittens from an Oval shed. Oh, man. So that's how he did it. Hey, thanks, Alley Cat. Wow, that's the classic catfishing or whatever you call that. Where
let's have a great Saturday.
Look at my puppy or whatever, right? So it was a shed at the Oval. So it must have been like during the game. Maybe they went to the bathroom and he said, "Hey, you want to come check this out?" The witness tells us that during the last
Thanks,
quarter.
Gray, for all you do, heart.
Thank you. Linda Howe, as in Linda Moldenhow of the Cattle Mutilations and Crop Circles. We should almost just make a shirt that has cattle mutilations and crop circles. Maybe I'll make one and just send it to her. Maybe, and what we'll do is it'll say Linda Howell with like an X through the 2 last L's, because that's actually the actual person's name. All right, so it looks like what I was just guessing might be coming true here. Let me see. The witness tells us that during the last quarter of the match, he saw the 2 girls who are missing standing in the archway underneath the Cresswell stand watching 3 girls playing with a ball. Okay, the witness tells us that during the last quarter, so that means it was in progress, most people are in their seats, he saw the 2 girls who are missing standing in the archway underneath the Cresswell stand watching 3 girls playing with a ball. So those 2 were watching 3 other girls playing with a ball. I don't know if that's still, Cresswell Archway. I wonder if that's even, if you type that in. No. Oh man, it's called Tarjana Wama. It almost sounds like hey Anna, hey Anna, hey. Yeah. See, I don't know how. I'm sure they're famous in Australia. They're not famous here. I just randomly found them. It wasn't out of fame that I found them. I know there's another cold case that actually has had a podcast. I was about to do it, but it sounds like after all the years after the podcast was created, they actually arrested a husband, and he's going on trial coming up real soon. So I thought that was pretty weird. I was starting to look at it, and then I go, oh, nope. Yeah, I'm sure these are pretty big over there. Even though, like, if you look at, there's no newspaper articles anytime recent on any of these things. Wow, I just went through the earth. Some of them have web articles. Let's see. A picture is building up, said Senior Inspector Lehman. The witness tells us that during the last quarter of the match, he saw two girls who were missing standing in the archway underneath the Cresswell stand, watching three girls playing with a ball. So maybe it meant like, the actual stand under the building. So maybe one of these had a name and they were underneath that. He left the area and came back shortly after in time to see the two girls walking towards the southern... Okay. During the last quarter of the match, he saw the two girls who were missing standing in the archway underneath the Cresswell stand. Okay, and then that witness left the area and came back shortly after in time to see the two girls walking towards the southern gateway. At the time, he saw a man trot from underneath the pepper tree behind the John Cresswell stand and hurry towards the two girls. Huh. There must be, I don't know what those names stand for. It could just be, how you name different, sometimes parts of a park, I don't know. I don't know what tree they're referring to there. Okay. This is crazy, though. At the same time, he saw a man trot from underneath the pepper tree behind the John Cresswell stand and hurry towards the two girls. He saw the man pick up the smaller one under his right arm, the 4-year-old. Inspector Lehman said the man grappling with the two struggling children continued to walk towards the southern gate. The other, or older girl, was seen to grab him by the coat and endeavor to pull him back. Oh my God, look at... There's Michael Callahan.
You're a huge help to those in need. Let's keep the donations coming.
You must have some dungarees on. Thanks, Michael. Yeah, it seems like, don't you think it would, even though it's during the game, that there'd be some people walking around outside? I mean, it holds a lot of people. 13,000 people, I guess. The older child was trying to stop the man from taking the younger one. The elder one eventually kicked him in the knee, and he knelt down quickly. Wow, she really tried hard. A pair of black glasses fell out of his coat pocket. He retrieved these and continued on, still carrying the child. He took the older child by the arm and took her along with him. The boy, who has not been named by police, was among more than 2,000 people who have phoned in reports and leads to the Emergency Operations Center. He was interviewed by detectives on Wednesday night and again this morning. Inspector Lehman said police have now managed to trace the movements of the man and the two girls for a distance of about 30 to 40 yards into the public car park outside the southern gates. The southern gates. It's kind of weird because you almost can't even see where a car would park at this point. Yeah, where the hell do they park? Maybe they park underneath the building or something. I don't know. But here's the southern end of the building. I was expecting to see maybe a parking lot or something over there, but I know a lot of people take public transportation. When I was there anyways, people would take the buses and so forth to the games. Weird. Yeah, so they traced 30 to 40 yards. Police cadets are seen below searching the north bank of the river. Okay. So they were looking on this bank of the river since he was heading this direction. Yeah, he was probably making it look like they were his kids, you know, at some point. It just seems so weird that nobody stopped him. Especially when there really are a lot of people milling about. Okay, and this is about the same day. It's the same. I don't know if it's exactly the same. Thursday, a 13-year-old boy told police he'd seen a man. Police are relying heavily on the information in their hunt for the two missing Adelaide girls. The boy, who was not named by police, said he saw a man in a broad-brimmed hat come from behind a tree and pick up a girl resembling Kirste. He carried her towards the south end gate of the oval. An older girl, possibly Joanne, kicked the man. I mean, that's so cool that she tried so hard to save her sister. Kicked the man in the skins and tugged at his coat while trying to rescue her friend, he said. Yeah, maybe it was just her friend. I don't know if it's her sister, because they have different last names. Yeah. The boy told police that the elder one eventually kicked him in the knee and he knelt down quickly. A pair of black glasses fell out of the coat pocket. He retrieved these and continued on, still carrying the child. He took the older child by the arm and took her along with him. Police said the boy was not sure the incident had anything to do with the disappearance of Joanne and Kirste, and so did not come forward immediately. Meanwhile, an escapee from Adelaide Mental Hospital, Michael David Mitchell, 19, has been detained in, let's see, Traralgon, Traralgon. Traralgon. There you go. About 100 miles southeast of Melbourne, and cleared of blame by the police. Okay. And it's Melbourne. Okay. So when I just said Melbourne, it's actually Melbourne. Okay, you don't say the R. It's more like, you get in trouble if you say anything wrong, right? I got emails. I just cringe. I just cringe when you say Melbourne. Hey, it's Melbourne, everybody. Okay, yeah. Melbourne. Then the next one. A day later, Friday, 1 week after the disappearance of Joanne Ratcliffe, 11, and Kirste Gordon, 4, the Adelaide police admit that they are no closer to finding them. As each day passes, hopes of the two girls being alive become more remote. The parents went through an agonizing experience today when police took them to Woolworths. Look how lame this is. They took them to Woolworths, the police did, and in Adelaide, to dress up life-size models of their missing daughters, right? So now it's just, God, that's ridiculous to me. I don't know. The models were clothed in outfits identical to those they were wearing when they were last seen at a football match at Adelaide Oval last Saturday. Until today, I think you've got the witnesses, okay? Until today, Mr. and Mrs. Ratcliffe of Campbelltown and Mr. and Mrs. G. Gordon of Hackman had never met. Oh, wow, that's weird. So why were they there together then? Until today, Mr. and Mrs. Ratcliffe of Campbelltown and Mr. and Mrs. G. Gordon. So that's bizarre. Okay, let's see. They went to the Adelaide Police Headquarters before going to Woolworths. Police are hoping that someone who sees the models in the store may help the search. So was that just a random person that she met there? That's crazy. I mean, why was Joanne Ratcliffe so vigorously trying to defend Kirsty Gordon if they didn't even know each other? I mean, it sounds like they didn't know each other. Maybe they were friends, separately, but why would an 11-year-old be friends with a 4-year-old? It almost sounds like she just witnessed it and tried to help. Police are hoping that, maybe it'll come out later, I don't know. Police are hoping that someone who sees the models in the store may help in the search. Yeah, but the thing is you already heard from everybody that it's not like you'd need to say, oh yeah, now I remember a guy carrying the girls. Because you made the models. You would have recognized it at the time. Yeah, I think it's kind of dumb. Because especially since, I think it's ludicrous. Doesn't help anybody. The most significant information so far has come from a 13-year-old boy. Doesn't it seem weird that he's the only one to have seen this happen? Who said he saw a man in a white... I mean, it sounds like that is really the case. But wasn't there anybody else out there who said he saw a man in a wide-brim hat dragging 2 girls away from the Adelaide Oval late on Saturday afternoon? The girls have been added to the list of 3 small girls and 1 boy who have apparently vanished in the past 7.5 years. First, it was the 3 Beaumont children, which I have in the same folder here, who were last seen on, let's see, I think it's cut off, but Glenelg Beach, Adelaide in January 1966. Then in August 1968, Linda Stillwell, 7, disappeared from St. Kilda Beach. And this down here, I piqued my interest, but it turned out it wasn't related. Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of bizarre to like dress up some dummies. I mean, you don't think that somebody, if you saw the 2 kids, you'd remember it. It's not like, oh yeah, wow, now I remember. If you hadn't showed me the clothes, I wouldn't have recognized this guy carrying, but when it just seems crazy to me. And it's really brings a lot of absolutely, a ton of trauma to the parents. Why not just say, what were they wearing? Pick out the stuff, and then somebody else dresses freaking mannequins if you want to do that. God, it's dumb. New lead on abducted children. Sunday detectives believe they have a promising new lead on the abduction of Joanne Ratcliffe, 11, and Kirsty Gordon, 4, at Adelaide Oval last month. The lead the best police have had to date is connected with earlier sightings of a man and 2 children similar in appearance to the missing girls in the inner suburb of Thebarton on the day of the abduction. I'm sure it's probably like Thebarton. That was the worst Australian accent in the history of the world. On the day of the abduction. It came from a team of homicide detectives using a card index system developed by Scotland Yard and introduced to the South Australian police during the investigation into the drowning of Dr. G. Duncan and the Torrens River last year. The lead became stronger with reports from people who saw a police display at Norwood Oval yesterday. Oh, God. So here you go, everybody. Now it's defending the stupid, the models. The lead became stronger with reports from people who saw a police display at Norwood Oval yesterday of 2 models dressed as the... Were these actually people or dolls, though? Oh, man. 2 models dressed as the missing girls were the day they disappeared. Details of the lead have not been released, but the reports are known to deal with fresh sightings of the missing children with a man on the day of the abduction. The police received the reports only this weekend because the people concerned did not think what they had seen could have been connected with the abduction until they saw the models. Okay, everybody. It's good. Let's put them through the... Well, it didn't result in anything. Oh, God. I mean, what did they do? Put them back at the stadium and say, look at these? And then people go, oh, wow, okay. You know, maybe it works over there. I don't know. Never heard of it. Well, the thing is why didn't they didn't need to bring the... I guess what was stupid about it to me was that they brought the parents over to sort of dress the models and everything. I mean, give me a break, all right? You know how painful that is? How ridiculous that was to sort of have to relive that crap? But I still want to know how they knew each other, right? A detective yesterday told the coroner's court that he believed two young girls who disappeared from the Adelaide Oval nearly 6 years ago. This is so... I'm already 79 now. All the first articles were right when it happened. Nearly 6 years ago have been murdered, he said. He was giving evidence on the disappearance of Joanne Ratcliffe, 11, and Kirste Gordon, 4. Detective Sergeant John Lewis McCall, who was in charge of the investigation, said he could find no connection between the case and the Beaumont children who went missing in January 1966. McCall said investigations had not been able to identify the person responsible for the abduction. Mr. Leslie Henry Ratcliffe, bread salesman of Munden Street, Campbelltown, told the inquest his daughter would not have left the Oval on her own steam, he said. He criticized a man who said he had refused to use the ground broadcasting system to tell of the girl's disappearance. Yeah. I don't know how good that would have done. It seems like this guy kind of snatched him and got the hell out of there. It might have led to people immediately being aware of what they just saw, though. No, but that's not what they said. They said that they were brought in to dress them. Yeah. Well, let me see. Let me see what they were actually worded it. Yeah. The parents went through an agonizing experience today when police took them to Woolworth's store in Adelaide to dress up life-size models of their missing daughters. I mean, that means they took them to a store. They had to, pick out all the clothing and then dress up these dolls to look like their kids. I mean, what a nightmare, okay? So, just to get the actual evidence of what they said in the article. Maybe that was a totally mistake, but... Detective Sergeant John Lewis McCall, who was in charge of the investigation, said he could find no connection between the case and the Beaumont children. McCall said investigations had not been able to identify the person responsible. Mr. Leslie Henry Ratcliffe, bread salesman of Munden Street, Campbelltown, told the inquest his daughter would not have left the Oval on her own steam. He got angry that they didn't mention it on the loudspeaker. Mr. Ratcliffe said there would have been a chance in a million said there would have been a chance in a million of the abduction being prevented if the announcement had been made. Right. One chance in a million. So it probably wouldn't have, because the person had already taken them, even if you'd said, hey, you know. Anthony Gordon, Kilmartin, 19, unemployed, of Salisbury, had been selling lollies at the Oval. He said he had to move over for two girls in the Sir Edwin Smith stand. So there you go. They named the stands after different people. They walked down the stairs. Mr. Kilmartin said he had seen a man running or trotting towards the gate. The man had been watching the girls in the stand. God, just like a freaking, he was like hunting them, you know, like watching and then hunting. In his police statement, he said the man caught up with the girls, lifted the little one up and carried her to the gate. He told the coroner, Mr. K.B. Ahern, that the bigger girl had looked frightened and had grabbed the man. He told her to take off or something. So she lost her life trying to save the 4-year-old. Because it sounds to me like he was trying to abduct the 4-year-old, and the other girl, who wasn't a sister, wanted to defend her and help her. Now, that's not... Well, that's what they said, though, Zozo. Sorry. I'm just reading what they said, okay? So...
Start the wave. Man surfing.
I'm sure they had to be there and say, no, her hair looks a little bit more like this. I mean, I don't care if they literally had to stick their fingers in, you know, stuff the arms through shirts or anything. I guarantee it. They were sitting there the entire time telling them, okay, yeah, she wore it like this. This is how the hair had to go. This is how this had to be. And so, because they wanted them to look exactly like they looked. Yeah. Yeah, Zozo's doing the dungaree comments from yesterday. You know, trying to parse out the meaning. You know. He told her to take off or something, and I thought he must have been a friend, and they had just had an argument, he said. Kilmartin agreed he had thought the man was the girl's father. He saw the man grabbing the bigger girl and had gone towards the corner of the tennis courts. Let's see where those are. Yeah, look at that. It's right there. So here's the southern end, just like they were saying, going towards the tennis courts. I mean, I wonder, let's see how far back this looks the same. Yeah, so this is even, well, it only goes back to 2000, but pretty sure that's still a tennis court. Man, there we go. I just got totally discombobulated here. We're spending too much time on the mannequins. Who cares? I just think it's ridiculous. They should have just said, can you tell us what they were wearing? Okay, if you can pick that out, great. See you later. But they probably wanted to have everything.
A small wave.
But you know what? It seemed to have worked. There, a couple people came forward that saw them. None of these people seem like they came forward because of that, though. That we're reading about right now. He told the coroner, Mr. K.B. Ahern, that the bigger girl had looked frightened and had grabbed the man. He told her to take off or something, and I thought he must have been a friend and that they had just had an argument, he said. Kilmartin agreed he had thought the man was the girl's father. He saw the man grabbing the bigger girl and had gone towards the corner of the tennis courts near a pine tree. That was the last he'd seen of him. Ratcliffe told the inquest that at about 3:50 p.m. Joanne went to the lavatory. That's exactly what I was thinking earlier. With Kirsty Gordon. But how did they know each other? At 4:06, when Joanne and Kirsty had not returned, Mrs. Ratcliffe went to the secretary's office to report them missing. But how come earlier it said they had never met until just that day? Ratcliffe said his wife saw a man now known as Mr. Blundell, who refused bluntly to report that the girls were missing because it would have interfered with the football match. He did not hear the announcement until 5 minutes after the game had finished. After the girls did not return from the lavatory, he searched the back of the stands, the car park, bowling area, and tennis courts. His wife searched the women's lavatories. Ratcliffe said Joanne had been to the Oval dozens of times. She knew how to use the telephone and how to ring the emergency number. Ratcliffe said Joanne had not met Kirsty Gordon. Okay, so here we go. Ratcliffe said Joanne had not met Kirsty Gordon before, and he did not know Kirsty's parents. Wow, that's crazy. She's like a freaking hero. She's a hero. You know? I mean, she's over there trying to save this 4-year-old, and it's just absolutely somebody she just met. I mean, that's incredible. So now I'm trying to read the comments. Yeah. Yep. She knew how to use the telephone and how to ring the emergency number. Ratcliffe said Joanne had not met Kirsty Gordon before, and he did not know Kirsty's parents. McCall said the incident was reported at... Let's see. Ratcliffe said Joanne had not met Kirsty before. So that Joanne's one of the missing. Joanne Ratcliffe and Kirsty. So that's just amazing. McCall said the incident was reported at police headquarters at 5:12 p.m. when Ratcliffe said 2 children had left the Smith stand about 3:45 p.m. to go to the lavatory and had not returned. Several police patrols had searched the Oval, outbuildings and adjoining properties. The hearing was adjourned until Thursday. Okay, that was 1979. Then there was this article, 1990. Thanks, Audio Caspian Horses Rock. After 24 years shrouded in mystery, the disappearance of Beaumont children may be close to a solution following evidence given to an Adelaide court yesterday. A witness known only as Mr. B told Adelaide Magistrates Court that a man charged with the murders of 2 Adelaide teenagers had said he had killed the 3 children. Mr. B, who is from Sydney, I think this is for the other case, so the Beaumonts. There's 2 other, okay, let me go down here. On August 25th, 1973, 11-year-old Joanne Ratcliffe and a companion, Kirsty Gordon 4, disappeared during a football match at Adelaide Oval. The 2 cases are among the most baffling unsolved abductions in Australia. At yesterday's hearing, Mr. B, who has been granted immunity from prosecution, said that a few weeks before the murder of Alan Barnes, von Einem, I guess, had told him about the Beaumont children, and 2 children von Einem had picked up from a football match. Oh, wow. Von Einem had said he had picked up the Beaumonts at Glenelg Beach, connected them up, did some brilliant surgery on them, and one had died. He had been dumped, then he dumped the bodies at Moana or Maiponga south of Adelaide. He also told me he picked up 2 children at the football, the witness said. Wow, that's crazy. Mr. B, who has the court, has told the court, it's such small writing here, I can't see it very good. He was with Von Einem the night Alan Barnes was picked up, but was not involved in Barnes's death. Said he had been talking to police about Von Einem and Von Eymann's activities since a few days after the abduction and murder of Barnes in 1979.
Keep it going.
It's okay, Michael. Don't worry about it. I appreciate it, though. Thank you. Let's see. That's crazy. That guy, I wonder if he actually did it. First statement to them, but not all the information I knew, did not seem to believe anything he said. Okay. After therapy for drug abuse in Sydney last year, when he had spoken to counselors about how the Von Einem matters had affected him and had been advised to offload as much as I could, he had told police about the Beaumont children. Mr. B told the court Von Einem had not told him where the Beaumont children had been taken when they were alive. He had been told that they had been taken to Moana or Maiponga, I guess. South Australian police have not completed a search. So this is 1990. And so here's this one I thought was pretty interesting though. See, doesn't this guy kind of look... I mean, I know he's older, so his face is sunk in like that, but this is... I guess this is probably like one of their biggest suspects, and he does kind of look like that. You know, of course, you put a hat on his head, and then he looks even more like him, right? South Australian and Queensland police. Well, before we get to that one, we might as well go to the Beaumonts, because the Beaumonts are mentioned at the same time, and we'll go back to that. Then it might make sense. Yeah, he's still wearing the same hat after all those years. It's weird. He super glued it to his head and then sewed it to his skin at one point. It's weird, but... So this is 1966. A father tonight broke down as he appealed on television for the return of his 3 children who have been missing since Wednesday. As George Beaumont spoke, police issued an identikit picture of a tall man they said could help them in the massive search for the children. Jane 9, Arnna 7, and Grant 4. They have not been seen since they went for a swim at Glenelg Beach just outside of Adelaide. Police ringed the Riverina with roadblocks yesterday after a truck driver reported he had seen the 3 missing Adelaide children in a station wagon. By last night, however, police had not found any trace of the vehicle or the children. Truck driver Mr. Denny Cole, 25, of Bowral, started the search when he reported that he had seen 2 men driving the missing Beaumont children on the Sturt Highway near Narendra. All right, let me just see where that is. Okay, so there's Sturt Highway near Narendra. Narendra! Right? Come on, that was close. Police, let me see. Okay, so the truck driver, Mr. Denny Cole, 25, of Bowral, started the search when he reported that he had seen two men driving the missing Beaumont children on the Sturt Highway near Narendra. The three children, Jane, 9, Arnna, 7, and Grant, 4, have been missing since January 26. They were last seen at, let's see, Glenelg Beach, so let's get that in there. So that's kind of interesting, right? Because this beach is near the football park, right? So that makes it a little bit more interesting. Their parents, they were going to swim. Okay, so they were last seen at Glenelg Beach after they had told their parents they were going to swim. The Chief of Adelaide, CIB Superintendent N.R. Linton, said last night that the South Australian police had been told of the Riverina report, but at present they did not think that the children in the car were the missing children. In Adelaide yesterday, Mrs. Nancy Beaumont, mother of the missing children, left her home in Harding Street, Somerton Park, for the first time in more than a week. Hey, thanks, Nona617. All right, so then we're moving forward about a month and a half. This one has some weird details in it. Just based on I haven't read any of these. I'm just reading the titles.
Creeps
that was me
hide
singing, by the way. Next time I'll have Mary Lou sing it. Actually, I'm gonna have Zozo give me a call, and she's gonna sing all these for you guys. She said she was gonna do it, and then I'm gonna record it, and I'll have them as sound effects. But it'll all be cool because it'll be Australian accent. Happy birthday to you, mate. Happy birthday to you, mate. Yeah.
Happy birthday to you, mate.
Yeah, it's going to sound more like that. Yeah. Do it. All right. In Melbourne, okay, not Melbourne like Jason Bourne. It's Melbourne. Melbourne. Saturday, a letter postmarked Parramatta, New South Wales, March 1st, has sparked a new search for Adelaide's missing Beaumont children. Police began digging yesterday on 4 small islands known as Mud Islands, about 3 miles off Sorrento. Let's see what those are. Is this way over here? Yeah, it must be. So they're looking on islands out here, huh? Jeez. That's pretty far away from, how many miles is that? Yeah, probably 500 miles driving. Police began digging yesterday on 4 small islands known as Mud Islands, about 3 miles off Serena. 14 police took part in the search but found nothing. No work is being done today, but may be resumed next week. On January 26, 2 years ago, the Beaumont children, Jane, then 9, Arnna 7, and Grant 4 of Somerton Park, an Adelaide suburb, disappeared when they went for a swim at nearby Glenelg Beach. So there's no witnesses of that one? Despite Australia's biggest search, no trace of them has been found. Yesterday's search followed an anonymous letter received by police. It read, "Dear Sir, look for..." Oh, you know what? I bet you this letter was sent by a psychic. "Dear Sir, look for the Beaumont children on Mud Island." And as a matter of fact, there was other articles that mentioned psychics and clairvoyance and crap. And I was just, oh, God. Do you guys ever rest? Hey, listen. If you're a clairvoyant or a psychic and you're watching this show, just know this. I think you're an idiot. Okay? And you are using people for your own gain like that. Okay? Because there's no way, it's complete bullshit. All right? I know when people are at their wits' end, they have nothing else left, they go to the psychic because it's their last chance. Okay? That should tell you something right there. That at that point, they're so desperate, they're going to get a hold of you. You know, I'm not saying that there isn't, like, people don't have a sense every once in a while. You know, there's weird things that happen in life. But, you know, we all remember the case that 10 days in, the one police detective sent the clothing of the victim to a psychic. And by God, the clothing was never found again. Boy, what a genius. I would have fired that guy and put him in jail for a year. That detective. What a freaking moron. Remember that one? It was the black girl. She had her head cut off or something. She was found in a abandoned warehouse or something. And he's like, yeah, what a great idea. I'm going to send her clothes to a psychic. Moron. Jesus. Yeah. St. Leonard's, 20 miles east. Okay, the letter postmarked Parramatta, New South Wales, March 1st, was addressed to the officer in charge of police. St. Leonard's, 20 miles east of Geelong, is on the beach near Mud Island, but has no permanent police station. The letter was sent from St. Leonard's Post Office to Superintendent G. Brown. Inspector J. Autry, who led this search yesterday, said the 4 islands comprised barren, dry, muddy ground of about 10 acres. The islands were infested with mutton bird holes and rabbit warrens. There was no habitation of any sort, he said. We went all over the island and dug anywhere it appeared possible for a body to be buried, said Inspector Autry. That psychic's probably laughing their ass off at this point. So I wonder what when they say 4 islands. Oh yeah, I guess they're, you know, if you were to look at this differently, this could be, maybe they're thinking there's 4 islands just right here. You know, I don't know. That looks more like an atoll to me. But that's what that was called right there. So this was probably the inside of a volcano at one point. Right there. And that's the ridge of it. Okay, next article. Island hunt for children abandoned. So they tried doing that and abandoned it. And 10 years later, bid to dig again for missing 3. Adelaide property tycoon Mr. Konpolides said yesterday he would like to excavate again the foundations of a Somerton warehouse where the Beaumont children were said to be buried. Thursday was the 12th anniversary of the children's disappearance from a Glenelg beach. Jane would now be 21, Arnna 19, and Grant 16. Mr. Politis said he had been convinced. Mr. Konpolides. Well, what's con mean? Does that mean he was a Mr. Konpolides? And then later it just calls him Mr. Polides. Said he had been convinced by the Dutch clairvoyant. Oh, here we go. Here we go, everybody. Mr. Polides said he had been convinced by the Dutch clairvoyant Gerard Crossel, who'd come to Adelaide in 1966 and pinpointed the Wilden Avenue warehouse as their place of death. Mr. Polides had financed the trip. Well, you're a fool. You wasted every nickel you gave that guy, you blew. He said yesterday if the warehouse, now being leased, were to go on the market, he would buy it and dig up the foundations thoroughly. Okay, then 8 years after that, now this is like a 20, some of these are going to be better because they're anniversary and a lot of stuff's been figured out since this is 1986, and remember it was 66 when when they went missing. So some of you are just being born right now, right? In the chat, right at this moment, like 1986. One of the biggest mysteries of recent Australia crime history, the disappearance of 3 small children from Adelaide Beach 20 years ago yesterday, is no closer to being solved. The mass of files on the 3 Beaumont children, Jane, Arnna, and Grant, are locked away in a storeroom. And by the way, these are the kids right there. This is Jane, Grant, and Arnna right there. The massive files on the 3 Beaumont children, Jane, Arnna, and Grant, are locked away in a storeroom at the Adelaide Police Headquarters, but detectives say the case is still open, with information coming in from time to time on the children's disappearance. The head of South Australian Major Crime Squad, Detective Superintendent Rob Lean, said the case of the Beaumont children may only ever be solved by a deathbed confession. Australia Day 26, January 1966, was a hot day in Adelaide. Jim Beaumont decided not to go to... See, this is going to have a lot more information. Jim Beaumont decided not to go to the beach, but let his 3 children, aged 9, 7, and 4, make the 3-kilometer trip. See, that's what the difference was back then. See, when I was a kid, we could go, even up until like 1972, ish, 75, we'd just go, hey, Mom, we're taking off, and we'd all just go, I was only 11 or whatever, and we're just driving around, going wherever we wanted on our bikes, or walking, or doing whatever. But it's so different now. And the reason it's different now is because people are aware that there's monsters like this who took these 3 kids. Yeah, well, and a 9-year-old. So you had a 9-year-old that's sort of like the babysitter. Right? But this is we're talking about 1966, everybody. And there wasn't really a lot of, in 1966, I mean, I don't even know how many people lived in Australia. Probably 10 million or something, It's like, there isn't really a lot of people that live there now compared to our country. What is it, 50 million? I'm just taking a guess. I mean, it's really a small number. Might not even be that. It's probably 20, 25. Because most of Australia is kind of inhabitable. It's like Mars. Looks like it too if you zoom in on it. Yeah, 25. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, check that out. That's 1/10 of what the United States has. So that means if, let's say 10% of your population are made up of barbarians, there would be 2.5 million there. But in the United States, there'd be 30 million psychos. Okay, so that's why it's a lot worse. We just have more people. They have just as many crazy people there, percentage-wise. It doesn't change because of where you live, right? It just means that you have less people, and that means there's, as a percentage, even if it was 2%, it's way less barbarians. It's just kind of like how it was in the 60s here. Maybe we had 150 million people in the United States, and there was less, but the same percentage of psychos. Okay, so you're getting some better information here. So Jim Beaumont decided not to go to the beach, but let his 3 children aged 9, 7, and 4 make the 3-kilometer trip there by themselves. It was the last time he saw them. I mean, just think how horrible he feels. At the suburban beach of Glenelg, 4 separate witnesses told police they saw the children playing with a man in his 30s with fair hair and a thin face. Well, that's sort of similar to that one guy, right? He didn't have the checkered shirt and the hat, but he had the thin face. What followed captured the nation's imagination. A harbor was drained, buildings were unearthed, and life-size models of the 3 children displayed, here we go again, at the Sydney's Royal Easter Show. Wow, see how ludicrous that is, though? At the Sydney's Royal Easter Show. Hey, everybody! It seems kind of morbid to me. Like you have these little dolls that look like the victims at the show, right? But hey, apparently they work. We found that out in the last article, or the last case. I mean, look at that. Were unearthed and life-size models of the children displayed at the Sydney's Royal Easter Show. God, give me a break. A flamboyant Australian detective, Ray Kelly, as well as Scotland Yard, Interpol, and the FBI all became involved in the case. The vision of a Dutch clairvoyant, Gerard Grosset, known as the man with the X-ray eyes, forced the South Australian government to reverse a decision not to excavate beneath the warehouse in the Adelaide suburb of Somerton Park. But nothing was found. Good job, psychic. You know what it probably was like when Geraldo went into Al Capone's vault, and there was nothing there, right? The case continued, but of course he went, oh, well, hold on a second, it was a place that looked just like this at somewhere. The case continued, revived by annual attention from press, radio, and television on each anniversary of the disappearance. But despite many leads, neither the children nor the suspect seen at Glenelg Beach have been found. Some of the detectives who led the early investigation are now dead or retired. Mr. Lean, who worked as a young detective on the case, said information still came in, some of it very frustrating. One recent call was from a man who said he saw 3 children who looked like the Beaumonts in the back of a green utility van driving along Anzac Highway the day after the disappearance. Or after they disappeared. So wait, it took you that many years to make that phone call? He said he didn't want to get involved at the time, but wanted to tell us before he died. All we can do is thank the person and think, why didn't they ring us years ago? He said here's the thing, everybody. The people who say that are the losers of society, okay? The people who don't get involved when they know the truth, or they have information and they're not, they really are, okay? If you see something, whether you have to get a lawyer or whatever when you're going to tell them, I don't know, but you can't just go and then 20 years later go, oh yeah, I saw the girls in a green van. Okay, you're a joke at that point. Oh, it made you feel better, but you didn't help a damn thing. Okay? You didn't help anything. Because 20 years later, who knows where that van is at this point. It might help if they ever catch somebody and they can find out that, yes, he owned a green van. The thing I hate the most is when somebody knows the truth about something. Like if you're in an argument with somebody and the other person knows that what you're saying is actually how it happened and what was the reality, and they just sit there and go, hey, I don't want to get involved. They could have solved the whole thing. And if you think that I'm referring to a specific thing that happened in life, then yes, I was.
Well, you can't blame them, Gray. They just...
He said most information now received came in letters from people offering theories on the case. If there is a need for follow-up action, it's taken. The children's parents, Jim and Nancy, have since separated, but still live in Adelaide. I wonder where she was. Mr. Lean said Jim Beaumont became tense when the news media dragged up the story every anniversary. For him, the trauma had not eased over the years. For him, it's a freaking nightmare. Think about it. He probably feels guilty, but at the time, it wasn't that weird to probably let a 9-year-old take their kids to go to the beach. 1966. Today, you would be put in jail for doing that, probably. Child neglect or something. If they are alive, Jane would be 29, Arnna 27, and Grant 24. Superintendent Lean. Lean, the puzzle has not ended. Superintendent Lean. For the Superintendent Lean. Oh, yeah. His last name is Lean. I was like, Lean, Jesus. For Superintendent Lean, the puzzle is not ended. We don't know if they are alive, dead, or went overseas. It's a complete mystery, he said. Okay. Then we have one in 1989, another article. So this is probably 23-year anniversary. But Jane Beaumont, eldest of the children, would be 32 now, possibly a teacher or a nurse, and more than likely a mother if the all but impossible was possible, that she was still alive. Thanks, Lee D. Hey, look at that. It's an Australian donation. Yeah. Jane's sister, Arnna, would be 30 and her brother, Grant, 27. The Beaumont children, 3 ordinary kids from an ordinary suburban family, took a 5-minute bus ride to an Adelaide beach. So they took a bus ride, they didn't walk the 3 kilometers. So now we're probably going to get more information. MITE, Zozo. No, you were right. You sent me the video that they say mate. That's so weird. I could have sworn Good eye, Well, it's kind of like a little between A and I, you know, sort of that. Yep, no, it's a 1. It's a 1. Let's see. Of all the crimes that still hang albatross like a... Well, let me see. To Adelaide Beach 23 years ago, vanished. Yeah, they took a 5-minute bus ride to Adelaide Beach. Of all the crimes that still hang albatross like around the necks of the Australian investigators, the Beaumont case is among the most baffling. This autumn, the case is being reworked by detectives from Adelaide Major Crime Squad, some of whom were the same ages as the Beaumont children when the file was opened on January 26, 1966. In charge is Detective Chief Superintendent Jerry Edwards, who worked on the case as a young detective. He is not optimistic about the latest look at the burgeoning Beaumont file, producing any more than those other officers had commissioned over the past 23 years. But the hope is that a new team will get a fresh slant on the tips. There were hundreds of people at Glenelg on the warm Wednesday that... let's see. There were hundreds of people at Glenelg on the warm Wednesday that Jane, Arnna, and Grant went to the beach for a swim. But they apparently saw nothing that could illuminate the fate of the children. I wonder if they know that the kids ever even made it to the beach, right? I mean, how do they know that they didn't get abducted right when they got off the bus, or when, maybe even before they got on the bus, and somebody said, hey, I'm going to the beach too. They saw the kids with towels and so forth, and that was an easy way to get them into the car, right? Did a tall, thin-faced man in his late 30s, a sun-baked swimmer, seen by several people frolicking with the Beaumont... Well, there you go. So there was people that saw them together. Frolicking with the Beaumont children on a beachfront reserve, spirit them away from Glenelg. Just after 10 a.m. on January 26, 1966, the children boarded a bus on a corner of their street, Harding Street, in the Adelaide suburb of Somerton Park. Let's see where that is. Yeah, so it's not far away. Just right there. Let's see. Police established later that the three got off the Glenelg terminus and that a postman who knew them saw them holding hands and laughing in the main street that afternoon. Jeez. Jane, a bright child, had been told to be home by 2 p.m. with Arnna and Grant. The three had made a similar trip to the beach the previous day, with Jane in charge. Relatives described her as like a little mother, the sort of child who seemed destined to enter a caring profession. Their alarmed parents contacted police at 7:30 p.m. when they had failed to return, and a search began, which was eventually to involve hundreds of police. It was several days before police were confident that 2 or 3 people had seen the sun-baked swimmer, a man in his 30s wearing blue bathers, with the children on the foreshore of the afternoon they disappeared, and that they might have left the beach with him about the time they should have caught a bus home. So they were probably like, hey, so it's the reverse of what I was just thinking. We got to go. And he says, oh, I'll give you a ride home. And they probably were like, okay, cool, saving some money for the bus. And then they get in to his car. I don't know. Maybe there was something else involved, because I'm sure the parents said, don't take a ride with anybody. So they may have said, oh, you guys are heading home. Hey, do you want to check out? Maybe it's the same guy that had the, in the other case where he said, check out some cats or something. Hundreds of callers subsequently swamped radio and television stations, newspapers, and police stations saying they had seen the man and the children in as many locations. But no hint of trail emerged. In October 1966, world attention was focused on the case when a Dutch clairvoyant, Gerard, that's probably why it became so big outside. I think this case was the biggest of any of the ones that we're talking about, if there was ever a worldwide focus on it. But a citizen action committee launched a public appeal for funds to excavate a warehouse. Nothing there. All right, so let me move on to the next one here. So that was 1989, then 1990. After 24 years shrouded in mystery, the disappearance of the Beaumont children may be close to a solution following evidence given to Adelaide Court yesterday. A witness known as only Mr. B told Adelaide Magistrate Court that a man charged with the murders of 2 Adelaide teenagers has said he had killed the 3 children. It sounds like that other... Yeah, this is from 1990. Huh. Mr. B, who was from Sydney, also said the man, the 44-year-old Adelaide bookkeeper, Bevan Spencer von Einem, had told him he had killed 2 other children who disappeared from a football match in Adelaide. See, that would be the other case that we discussed. But anyways, I think this is the same article, but I'm not sure why it's so many years later it's the same one. This is also 1990. Let's see. See, right here it says, the last time the Beaumont story made the headlines was in 1986, when 3 suitcases of newspaper clippings about the children were found on a rubbish dump. Well, that's interesting. Literally hundreds of the clippings had been scrawled on with red ink, written across a cutting dated August 5th, 1966, and headlined Beaumont Children. People hunt in sandhills was the message in red ink, not in sandhills, in sewage drain, I guess is what. Huh. So what it's saying is that the message on this said, people are searching in sandhills, but they're not in sandhills, they're in sewage drain. But the day after the find, relatives of an eccentric elderly woman who had become obsessed with the Beaumont. I was going to say it sounds like one of the sleuths on social media. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. So we got somebody in there trying to get me to go check out another YouTube channel. It's always so weird when people come over. You're just doing a show. I don't really care that some random person claims anything like that. Okay? There's a lot of people that claim that there was a... they know the guy that... what is it? I forgot what they call him. The guy that jumped out of the airplane in Washington. Right? Oh, yeah, I know the guy. Yeah. Okay, great. Yeah, D.B. Cooper, yeah. It's, everybody says something like that. And because they got suckered in by it and believe it, they want you to go watch it too. It's just like when the people send me these videos of like these sketches of the bridge guy that are just cartoonish jokes. I mean, really embarrassing stuff. And they try to get you to go and believe in it. And it's not going to happen. "19 years later, a couple told West Australian newspaper that they'd lived next door to the Beaumont children in the town for about 9 months. Police searched the Kalgoorlie area for any trace of the children, who at the time would have been in their 20s, but the search was called off when the uncle of Kalowski's children contacted police saying it was they and not the Beaumonts who lived in Reed in the 1960s. So these are just all the things that went wrong. But the day after the, the day after the find, this is about the suitcases. The relatives of an eccentric elderly person told the authorities that, hey, that was actually just, she was obsessed with the case. There also was the letters believed to have been written by Jane, which her parents received in 1968, 2 years after the children disappeared. In 1981, they were re-examined by scientific experts for new clues, but to no avail. Huh. So do they actually think that they were... And see, this is exactly what we were referring to earlier. Disappearance changed the ways of childhood. See, this is sort of how Delphi changed after Abby and Libby. So there's little pockets around where people still live that carefree way, and then something tragic happens, and then everything changes. I'm no amateur sleuth. The disappearance of the Beaumonts, this is 1990, has been bugging me for 24 years. My childhood changed irrevocably when Jane, Grant, and Arnna Beaumont went missing on Australia Day in 1966 from Glenelg Beach in Adelaide. Until then, this was a safe and sunny country, but on that Australian day, it was also changed by my parents. It was no longer okay for us to go play in a park, ride our friends' bikes, or go round to the neighborhood. Even pajama parties were out. Australia was now the place where children were removed from their parents' lives. Mysteriously, no ransom notes, no clues. The change was instant. One day, Mom and Dad were relaxed, knowing that wherever I was safe with someone they might have known only slightly. The next, shortly after it became clear that the Beaumont children would never return home, my life became a series of all-point bulletins that had to be issued to my parents at alarming and regular intervals. My mother grieved daily for Nancy Beaumont, the mother of 3 missing children. Although the Graham Thorne kidnapping had happened 6 years earlier, that abduction and murder was motivated by greed. There were reasons. The police knew them, and the culprits were found. But this had no tracks. See, that's exactly right. See, when you get an answer for something, it's like, oh, okay, we can still, But see, just like Delphi, right? Killer's unknown, hasn't been caught, and nobody has a clue. It was never the same for me again. There was no innocent lost time. Every minute was accounted for, and I honestly believe that when I had children, I would never frighten them or worry them with these rare events, 1 in a million horror stories. But I confess that I have thought about Jane, Grant, and Arnna every year since they disappeared. For my children, the name Beaumont means nothing. Instead, they will have to live with the names of Samantha Knight and Sean Kingy, Renee Aitken and Ralph Burns, Mark Mott and John Purtell. They will go to the creches and kindies where It is normal to teach 2-year-olds about stranger danger. For children born after the 60s in Australia, there will never be another lost innocent minute. See? There you go. It blows, doesn't it? Absolutely crazy right there. So, what are you guys' thoughts on that one? These are just those random abductions where, you know, these killers actually know what the hell they're doing, and they actually never find the kids or the killer. Really sucks, you know. Right. That's exactly how it was, Jamie, when we were younger. Just, hey, I mean, some of you in here are too old, you're not old enough to remember when it was like that. Because since probably like 85, 82, around that time, even maybe before slightly, parents became way more, concerned about what was going on. Because we would just come home from school, get on our bikes, and be back when dinner, like 3 o'clock, we'd take off, maybe come home for dinner, and then we'd get back on our bikes again, take off again, and then get home when it was dark. I just think that the person was at the park, or the beach where they were, and lured them to their car somehow, because, they're naive kids, and, probably tricked him. I don't think he said, "I'll give you a ride," because I think the 9-year-old was probably smart enough to know that that's not something you do. So he probably said, "Hey, I'm heading out that way too. Do you guys want to check out some," tricked him into something. And then maybe, grabbed the girl. I don't know how he got away from a beach that was crowded without one of the kids screaming or something at some point. So maybe he was able to lure him into the car somehow, and then he just drove off, and that's it. Nobody has a clue after that. But let me go back to, there was that other article that was related from 1998. Remember, this was the one that I was going to go back to. South Australian and Queensland police are investigating potential links between the unsolved disappearance of 5 Adelaide children, including the Beaumont children and Arthur Brown, arrested this month for the Townsville murders of 2 sisters in 1970. So this is that same guy, I think. The South Australian Major Crime Investigations Section approached Queensland homicide last week over the physical similarity between Mr. Brown, 86, and identikit pictures issued at the time of the disappearance of 2 girls from Adelaide Oval in 1973 and the abduction of 3 Beaumont children several years earlier. Independently of this, a woman who witnessed the possible abduction of the 2 girls, Joanne Ratcliffe and Kirste Gordon Ford, from a football match at Adelaide Oval, says she recognizes Brown as the man she saw 25 years ago. Mrs. Sue Lowry was 14 when she saw an elder man with 2 young girls. I don't know how you could have that good a memory after 25 years. I mean, I think if somebody even just looked similar, you'd think it was, oh yeah, that's them. On the banks of Mrs. Sue Lowry was 14 when she saw the older man with 2 young girls on the banks of the Torrens River, and the memory has haunted her. She says when she saw Mr. Brown on television after his arrest, she felt she knew him. A few days later, she realized why he looked familiar. I said, "My God, it's him," said Mrs. Lowry, who lives in Melbourne. Yeah, maybe some people have better memory too. So he also, he's older. His cheeks seem even more sunken than they did at the time. I just came over in goosebumps, she said. Mr. Brown was charged earlier this month with the sex-related murders of the McKay sisters, Judith 7 and Susan 5, in 1970. Oh, well, there you go. I mean, this guy really could be the killer. They had been raped, strangled, and stabbed and left in a dry creek bed about 25 kilometers south of Townsville. Mr. Brown was granted bail yesterday by a Queensland Supreme Court judge who questioned the strength of the police case against him. The similarities between Mr. Brown and the identikit pictures may prove to be coincidence, and they do not make Brown as a suspect in the abduction cases. The officers in charge of the South Australian Major Crime Investigation Section, Superintendent Paul Schramm, said that considerable checking was being done to establish whether Brown had ever been to South Australia. He said a joint inquiry was running with Queensland Homicide Police, and the Bureau of Criminal Intelligence in Canterbury was also involved. Information had been forwarded to the Violent Crime Linkage Assessment Unit, a national computer-based analytical system. Superintendent Schramm said there were obvious likenesses between Brown and the identikit picture issued at the time of the disappearance of Kirste Gordon and Joanne Ratcliffe, and the three Beaumont children, Jane 9, Arnna 7, and Grant 4. He stressed this did not amount to evidence and could prove coincidental. We are more particular about the fact the crimes he is alleged to have committed are obviously similar to what we think happened. He said, it warrants checking to see if he was ever down there. Yeah, so you can definitely, I mean, you know, they put this hat, he's wearing a hat, okay? But even without the hat, you can definitely see the similarities, you know, the ears kind of stick out, kind of tight lips a little bit. It'd be interesting to see what he looked like from a driver's license picture from maybe back in, say, 1970. That would be interesting. Well, whatever happened, let's see what happened to this guy. Did he ever get charged with anything? His name's so common, though. That's the problem. Oh, okay, let's see. He was an Australian man charged in 1998 for the 26th August 1970 rape and murder of Judith and Susan Mackey. The jury failed to reach a verdict, and a new trial was blocked on the grounds that Brown was too senile to be tried again. Brown's arrest attracted wide publicity, leading to a witness to the abduction of two children from Adelaide Oval in 1973, identifying Brown as the man she had seen. Brown is thus considered a prime suspect for the Beaumont children disappearance, but he died in 2002. Hopefully they did collect some DNA from him. Arthur Brown, let's see, 1944, Brown married Hester Porter. Man, they sure have a lot of info on a guy that's just... And look at that. Several witnesses claimed the car looked like a Holden EH. Two witnesses said it was blue, a very uncommon car at the time. A car seen parked near the murder scene was described as an earlier model Holden. Despite the various descriptions of the vehicle, the two witnesses who saw the children inside the car gave matching descriptions of the driver, with him having high cheekbones, narrow skull, short dark hair,
as one put it. Mickey Mouse ears, there you go. And both were in agreement that the vehicle had a driver door that was different color from the rest of the vehicle. One of these was to eventually be a key witness at the trial, as he identified Brown as the driver with two young passengers that he had argued with over erratic driving that day. Although 28 years had passed, Brown's appearance had barely changed, and he was still very much recognizable as the same person when compared to photographs. You know, that's pretty old that he was still actively a psycho. Now, if he was 86, I mean, he was 50, you know, right around 50 something years old. That's a little bit older than normal. Inexplicably, the two witnesses who said the vehicle was Vauxhall later changed their minds and signed statements that the vehicle may have been F.J. Holden and F.J. Holden. The police believing the car seen parked near the murder scene was the offender's. Okay, so anyways, I don't know if they're talking about what case they're talking about right here. I don't want to read the whole wiki article. Man, huge story just about this one guy, you know, Arthur Stanley Brown. Maybe I should put that in the, I'll put that in, well, you can just look it up on Wikipedia if you want to check it out. What do you guys think? He does seem like a possibility, doesn't he? Well, they were going to retry him. They couldn't reach a verdict. And then he died not too long after that. And, well, they said he got crazy. Like, he was senile. You know, a little bit like Biden, you know. But he wasn't able to, just kidding, everybody. Well, sort of. I just had to sneak that in. It's weird, he does kind of look like that right there. Alright, so I do have one last one here. We've got a Louise Faulkner, 1980. Alright. But there's only one, I could only find one small little clip in a newspaper in the Melbourne The Age. Okay. Police yesterday were no closer to finding a St. Kilda woman and her daughter who disappeared nearly 3 months ago. Police fear for the safety of Mrs. Louise Yvonne Faulkner, 43, and her daughter Charmaine, 2.5. They were last seen by a family friend on the 15th of April, 1980. St. Kilda police investigating the disappearance said yesterday they had no information of great value. No rent has been paid on the Faulkners' Ackland Street flat since April, and the telephone, gas, and electricity were cut off when bills were not paid. Hey, thanks, Meredith McKinsey. That was for the Biden joke. Sweet. Man, that's awesome. Thanks, Sarita. Miss Faulkner has not cashed her pension checks for May and June and has not used her bank account recently. Anyone who knows their whereabouts is asked to contact Detective Sergeant John Smith. Well, that was a long time ago.
This is for the Biden joke.
Hey, they pronounced that correctly. Hey, I can. I do have the. I'll open up the phone lines because I've had the phone lines open. If you guys want to call up and talk about any of these cases, but I'm going to still go over this last one here. All right. There we go. Hold on one second. Jesus, that thing is... This thing is so small, huge. Just a second, I'm trying to get this black background in here. There we go. I think I'm... Oh man, I was making progress and then it just... Okay, almost. There we go. Put that right there. There we go. Yeah, so then there's just a whole bunch of articles out here. Here's Charmian Faulkner. While residents at Ackland Street, Louise developed a friendship with Corrine Wild, a neighbor in the same block of the flats. On April 25th, 1980, Anzac Day in Australia, another day, right? In other words, Australian Day was the other one. Louise and Charmian attended a first birthday party for Corinne's son. At the party, Louise informed Corrine that she was excited about going to a farm with her potato farm boyfriend the following day and that she was expecting to have a good time. Okay, during the early evening of the following day, on the 26th of April, Corrine was standing outside the Lethen block of flats on Ackland Street. She saw Louise and Charmian. Let's see. So who's this person? Corrine. So is Corrine just a friend or... Yeah. Corrine Wild, a neighbor. No, it's a neighbor. There you go. So Corrine also saw a white Holden. Is that a vehicle? What's a Holden? Didn't they mention that in the last article? No. Flipped out the letter. That's weird. I've never even heard of this. Well, I know it's a vehicle. Hello? My God. They're probably not very common over here, right? I mean, I've never even heard of it. They look kind of weird, too, some of these shapes they got going on. I think some are SUVs, some are sports cars, you know, like that. But anyways, all right. Yeah, I just didn't know what... I've never heard of that brand in my life. Okay, so she saw a white Holden. Okay, so now we've got... Let me see what this looks like specifically. Alright, so kind of they look weird, you know. They've got almost like a
almost a sports pickup truck kind of deal. I mean, it looks like you could flip open the back and put stuff in it. Probably cost a few bucks, I would imagine. So Karina also saw a white Holden stopping, but this is back in 1980, so I'm sure it didn't look anywhere near as cool as that one did. Stopping outside the flats and double parking, Karine saw the driver to be a thick-set, older Australian male. Louise, I wonder how you, I mean, you're living in Australia, right? So, Louise, I mean, it's not like you'd say, wow, he looks like a really big American male. Unless the person who wrote this isn't from there. But, I mean, it's like, you're there. You're talking about an Australian story. I don't think you need to put in that much information. Louise placed her backpack in the rear of the car. Then she and Charmian climbed into the ute. The vehicle then traveled down Ackland Street towards Fitzroy Street. Well, let's see let's take it, see if we can find this. Okay, Ackland Street. Is this the right? Is there another Ackland Street? Well, I'll change it. Well, her name is it's IAN though, so it's not. I don't know why you'd say AIN. Other articles say CHRMAIN. That's not what it says. Okay. Yeah, just let me do my own thing, Zozo. You keep typing stuff in. All right. It's I know it wasn't that one. That's why I put Sydney in there. Okay. Yeah. So, anyways, it says IAN. Over here, it's Charmaine would have an AIN, not Charmian. Okay, but we'll call it Charmaine just for you, all right? It just seems kind of weird to have IAN in there. Yeah. Yeah, I could tell it was in Sydney, so it wasn't that street. That's why I was already putting it in. All right, let's see. So what was the other part down there? I'm trying to figure this part out. Karine also saw a white Holden. Louise placed her backpack in the rear of the ute. Then she and Charmaine climbed into the ute. The vehicle then traveled down Ackland Street toward Fitzroy Street. Yeah, so it might continue on. Let's see where it fits. Oh man. Oh god, this is one of those kind of cities where you got the same Fitzroy Street, Fitzroy Street, Fitzroy Street, Fitzroy Street. Oh boy. That's good times. Good times. Good times. Well, how about we do it like this? Fitzroy Street and Ackland Street. Oh god, holy crap. So now we're in a completely other spot, even though it said oh god. Oh Jesus. That's in Melbourne. Except that's not what it says up here. It says okay, well maybe because it just says the birth, so this might be the right spot down here, not Sydney.
Wow, you got the same street names and everything in every single city. I mean, it's like they had what was the other one? Fitzroy Street, 5 different times, but not even in the same line in that other city. All right, so here we go. We're right here. It said Sydney, but that was where she was born in the article. All right. So Louise placed her backpack in the rear of the ute. Then she and Charmaine climbed into the ute. The vehicle then traveled down Ackland Street towards Fitzroy Street. So it went this direction. I would imagine, like this. It was the last known independent sighting of Louise and Charmaine. So they must have that must be the person who did something to her. Nobody knew who it was. At the time of the disappearance, Louise's remaining children were Melissa, John, and Rosalie, I guess. I don't want to keep getting. Oh well, no, it's like this. It's like this. You know. They had been seen. They had last seen their mother and a half sister in the weekends before 26th of April. At John and Rosalie's last access visit before the disappearance, Louise had told John that she would be going away with George to his farm. Yeah. Well, who's George? Yeah. So these are the 2 that are missing right here. See? So there's the car. See, it doesn't look anything close to as nice back then. Has that same, they look a little bit like the, what was called El something or other? El Caminos or whatever. And maybe that's why Ford, as Zozo was saying, that they argued. I mean, they're competitors, not arguing. Let's see, El Camino. I don't know if Ford made El Camino. Did they? Yeah, see, look at that. They look very similar. They have a little bed in the back. See, look at that shape. It's almost, like they copied each other, right? I don't know who was first. So that was just the last time nobody knew who that person was? I mean, God, that's crazy. That just seems like somebody should have known who that was. For 28 years, Melissa Dybel had been haunted by the mystery disappearance of her mother and stepsister. Mrs. Dybel had spent more than $70,000 trying to solve the mystery and bring closure. And now she has produced a tribute CD to try to raise money. Speaking outside the coroner's court yesterday, she said that she was about to lose her home because of the cost of her long struggle for clues. Mrs. Dybel said she had taken time off from work to talk to witnesses and had used metal detectors to scour land to seek clues about her mother and stepsister's disappearance. Justice belongs to the people, and I'm about to lose my home because of the money put into the fight for justice. Louise Faulkner, then 43, was last seen getting into a utility with Mystery Man into a, it says utility with a mystery man in St. Kilda in April 1980. With her was her 2-year-old daughter, Charmaine. Their bodies have never been found. The resumed coroner's court inquest into their disappearance yesterday heard there were 3 new statements from fresh witnesses. The inquest was adjourned until next week to give lawyers a chance to review the new material. Miss Faulkner's lover, George Sutherland, now 85, had been named a person of interest in the inquiry. Mr. Sutherland refused to give evidence at the inquest last year on the grounds he might incriminate himself. Shouldn't that just be evidence right there? You know? Like, hey, I'm not going to give you anything because it might incriminate me. Well, what would you possibly have that would incriminate you? It's such a weird thing, you know, that the Fifth Amendment. I'm not going to say anything under grounds that may incriminate me. You know, like when Lois Lerner was testifying in front of Congress about how the IRS was intentionally blocking conservative charities. They kept asking her questions, and she just kept saying, I plead the Fifth. But first she went out and made a statement about how innocent she was, which actually made it so she shouldn't have been able to do that. But then she kept saying it over and over again. Well, wow. Well, if it would incriminate you, doesn't that make you like there's something that you're hiding then? I don't know. Every time somebody pleads the Fifth in general, I'm a little suspicious of them. Yeah. Okay, let me go to the next one. So there's a letter that's mentioned in this article, 2007 here. A letter alleging a confession by the prime suspect in the St. Kilda mum mystery has surfaced. Authorities and the family of the missing mother and toddler, both presumed dead, hope the letter will be the key to unlocking their fate. Oh, there goes my stomach. Louise Faulkner and toddler Charmaine vanished from St. Kilda 27 years ago after getting into a utility with a man. Prime suspect George Sutherland, 85, and living in Tasmania, was the land of the wombat and Tasmanian devil. And there's a whole bunch of other creatures that live on Tasmania that aren't anywhere else. Was Miss Faulkner's lover. He has denied he was involved in any foul play, but he refused to testify at an inquest last year on the grounds he might incriminate himself. The letter sent anonymously to the media reads, I ran into George Sutherland in Mo in early May 1980 and asked him about Big Boobs and Charmaine. They spelled it A-I-N-E this time. He said it was... Oh, okay, well, how about this? How come this says... Okay, to defend what I said earlier, it said it's Charmaine, you know, like right here it says, he said it was Charmian, not Charmaine, and I wouldn't be seeing them again as he had got rid of them. Okay, but why is he pronouncing? So this is how you say Charmaine, right? So that's how you say Charmaine right there. So why would the person hearing it audibly be able to say anything like, thanks, Juju Positive. Hey, look at that random number.
Hit the like button. Yeah, freaks. Boom.
Do you guys get what I'm saying here at all? See, this sentence here said, he said it was, I don't know how he's pronouncing it here, Charmian, not Charmaine, because Charmaine right there is how you say Charmaine, right? So then why is this person correcting them when they pronounced it? You know, it's almost like the reverse of what was told to me in chat right there. Almost like, well, it's Charmian, not Charmaine. And I wouldn't be seeing them again as he had got rid of them. See, so I don't know. I don't know now. Now we're in question on how that name's pronounced. But it might be like Charmian, like that, right? Yeah, well, it's true, Zozo. I don't think you're right now. Because now there's an article that says he said it was Charmian, not Charmaine. Because Charmaine is actually how you said it was pronounced, right? So that means there was a difference in the way the guy said it. Although I'm not sure why you would say that, because that would be like it's a little kid, like a toddler, right? Chatmain? What? I don't get it. The letter writer wrote that Mr. Sutherland said she thought she owned me and wanted me to be more of a father to the kid and my age. That's bull, they said. Yeah, Australia's pretty cool. Yeah. The land and the animals. The people. No, actually, they're pretty cool. Oh, I'm just saying, can somebody get I want to hear somebody pronounce the name that's an official. Like a news article that pronounces it. You know, maybe, let's see. Hold on. Does any of these have anything? Okay. The affair with George Sutherland began in 1975 when they were work colleagues. He was a manager and she was a typist. It caused both marriages to end in divorce, although the two lovers never lived together. In 1977, Louise became pregnant and refused strong demands by Mr. Sutherland to have an abortion. Oh, there you go. He continued to see Louise and paid the maternity hospital bills. A year later, his ex-wife, Beryl, moved from the Glen Iris home they once shared and joined him at their Gypsyland week. Yeah, so now his ex-wife is back with him, and now he's like, oh, shit. But Mr. Sutherland continued his affair, driving to St. Kilda from Gypsyland base where he grew potatoes. One statement to the police details how at a child's birthday party on April 25th, Anzac Day, Louise expressed her excitement about going away with her potato farmer boyfriend the next day and how he was expecting to have a good time. The same witness recalled speaking to Louise the following evening, and she waited outside their block of flats. She recalls Louise telling her they were going to the farm, just as a Holden Ute, a kind of a car that looks like a lot like an El Camino. The witness assumed the driver, an older Australian male and thick-set, was Louise's potato farmer boyfriend. After placing her backpack in the rear tray, Miss Faulkner and little... Okay, Charmian or Charmaine. Maybe it's like Charmine, like that. Like maybe it's pronounced like Charmine or something. I don't know. It's close. Climbed in the front seat. That was the last sighting of the pair. Mr. Sutherland, who now lives with Beryl in Burnie, denies he was the driver. Oh, really? So she just got into a car with some random person the same day she's supposed to go with you? Like sharp. Oh, yeah, that's it. Chow mein. There you go. Hey, good night, Jamie. How are things going with you, by the way? What do you mean you can't find? What are you talking about, Christola? I can't find the me? Yeah, I'm getting a EMG test here pretty soon. In a couple weeks, I have to drive up to Seattle again. Good times. Charmian? That's what I was saying. That's how I pronounced it earlier, but I got chastised for it. Yeah. I said Charmian, but it's probably like Charmian, like that, so it sort of sounds like Charmaine, you know, Charmian. Charmian. It's not a big difference, but you know. Oh, look at that! A call came in. Here, let me just get through the rest of this thing really quick. But he continued the affair. One statement to police details how at child's birthday. After placing her backpack in the back, Mr. Sutherland, who lives with Beryl and Bernie, denies he was the driver. He rejected police evidence that he was seen several times driving a white ute belonging to a local farmer. He said he spent Aztec Day 1980 at the Erica Hotel and worked on his property the following day. Several weeks after the two were listed as missing, police visited George Sutherland at his Erica property where they took a statement. The following month, he and his wife sold their Gypsyland home and flew to the United States to oh man, of course. God, go about as far away as possible. They were all away for 3 years. In 2001, the Homicide Squad Missing Persons Unit reopened the investigation and interviewed the Sutherlands. I'm one of the possible suspects, he told the Herald Sun. I was in no way involved in their disappearance. Like family, friends, and police, Mr. Sutherland believes Louise and Charmian are dead. Something drastic happened to Louise. To put it bluntly, she is no longer living, in my opinion. Well, you would know, so. Yeah, I think it's kind of obvious. I mean, how could it not? Okay, allegedly, how could it not be him? All right, here we go. All right, 479, you're on. You have to unmute yourself. Turn down the audio, too. Got about 3 seconds. Yeah, so I can... You know what's weird is I just realized people are listening to the show, and if there's like a 20-second gap, that's when they finally realize. But listen to the phone instead of the... Yep, you can unmute yourself. 479.
There you go.
Oh,
hey,
there you go.
up?
Who's this?
Rebel Rose, who else?
Oh, Rebel Rose. What's going on?
Ain't nothing much. You know, my dude talking about this last case that you were talking about, that he didn't have anything to do with it.
This last one?
Yeah, this last one.
Yeah, you don't think he has anything to do with it?
No, I said he doesn't have anything to do with it.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
When you say crap like that, and you do things like that, that makes you look guilty. I mean, come on.
When you say you didn't have anything to do with it?
Right. I mean, look at everything that he said. Look where he went to get away from the crime scene.
Which one are you talking about? The one right here?
The potato farmer.
Oh, the
yeah,
potato farmer.
farmer.
Yeah, well, it didn't really say he tried to get away. It just said he just said he wasn't there. But the thing is, why would she get into a car? You know, she's supposed to be hanging out with the potato farmer. What did he do? Some other guy said, "Hey, I'm here to pick you up to go see the potato farmer." You know, I'm sort of, you know, oh, okay, yeah, sounds great. Yeah, I don't think that happened.
Yeah, sounds suspicious to me.
Damn right. That's where, see, this is what I'm saying. Hey, Sasmir, you got to call in right now, too.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Sasmir, call in really quick.
Yeah, see if they can tell the difference in us without them knowing our names.
Yeah, come on, Sasmir. There's a number on the screen. I gotta hear this. Oh yeah. I think everybody's so far behind in the chat now. It's like 15 or 20 seconds at least.
I know I'm lagging bad on mine. I don't know what the hell it is.
Yeah.
I really don't. But I mean, you know, you point out so many things, just like the one dude, what the hell's that? DB Cooper.
Yeah.
I ain't never heard of that sapsucker, and a lot of these people I ain't never heard of until I started watching you.
Oh yeah. Well, cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, DB Cooper one's weird because they actually found some of his money. He hijacked a plane, jumped out with the money, and then some people actually found his money buried in the sand on a beach.
Why in the hell can't we do that?
I don't know.
Hell, far I ain't gonna turn it in, are you?
but I want you and Sasmir to be talking at the same time. That's all I want.
That'd be funny.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I think in this case, what we're talking about right here, he's the best suspect by a mile, right? I mean, she's getting into this. Yeah,
that's the way, I mean.
And he has a kid with her, and then he got back together with his actual wife, but he might have been seeing her still just to kind of. Because here's the thing, he needed to keep the ruse going. Because let's say he wanted to. Let me just throw this out there. Let's say he wanted to get rid of, like break off. He didn't want her to have the kid because he didn't want to be financially responsible for that child. So then when she had it, he had to maintain the sort of, hey, everything's great, so that she wouldn't seek money from him. Because if he said, okay, I'm gone, I'm going back to my wife, she would have made him pay for till the kid was 18, right? So he kept up a ruse, like they're still kind of a little bit like Patrick Frazee did in that case, very similar actually. Kept up a ruse, and then you take him out, and he planned it really well, so there was an excuse for everything. That's what it sounds like to me. This is allegedly. Okay.
Right. Well, see, not only that, but if they're in college, as long as they're in college, if they're in college to the age of 21, you have to pay child support all the way up until then. It don't cut off at 18.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he could be thinking that. And
I don't know how it is. I don't know how it is in Australia, though. I mean, it's probably the same. They might even have it more harsh over there. I could imagine.
Well, I would think so. I mean, if they're going to college to make something out of themselves, you need to kind of step up to the plate and help.
Yeah, but what's weird is I actually think to the non-deadbeat men out there that they would contribute more money than they'd have to if they weren't forced to do it. I really do. I think but if you're a deadbeat, the deadbeats ruin it for everybody else, because then you have to have these rules and everybody's set up. But anybody that's a good man out there is going to do whatever they can for their kid and be totally happy about it and feel like they really are helping out. But when you have to cut a check to the wife or girl, whoever the mother is, it makes you, I think it would make you bitter over time, because you're not even really getting to decide on anything. You're not doing anything. And I think that's where there's a lot of problems arise from that whole concept.
Well, see, with me, my son's daddy, he didn't have to pay but damn $100 a damn month. And you know what? That ain't no skin off my back. I didn't even push it. I tried to get him to have something to do with our son, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I told him, don't worry about the child support. Just be in his life.
Yeah. See, that means
And
you're
guess what?
a good mom. See, that's how it should be. More like that.
Mm.
You know.
Well,
And then
thank you. Well, I mean, you need to
Yeah.
stay friends.
right, and then
When
then
the
he
child
may
is
have
involved.
he may have put more money into it too, right? Let's say he decided to have a relationship with your child, and then over time he'd be like, "Oh, does he need anything? Oh, does he need a computer? You know, stuff like that. You know, they're really into doing it. But when you just start writing checks, it's not good.
Well, I'll tell you what this one done. And, you know, I mean, if everybody's having to take care of their kids, there's one thing. But if they ain't, they need to keep it in their damn pants is what they need to do. Because my son turned 30 years old this year. His next to the youngest sister, there is 27 years between them,
Yeah.
and there's 29 years between him and the youngest one. And you know what? He ain't took care of near damn one of them he's got.
I think it's dumb that people. Somebody just wrote in the chat. I think it's dumb that people that you have to pay all the way through college. I mean, what does that even mean? Like, oh, the kid does the 6-year plan where they keep going. I mean, it should be up until they're an adult. I think it should be up till they're an adult. And during the 18 years, you sort of plan on how everybody else plans on saving up for having a kid go to college, you know. But again, make it so that you feel like you're doing it, not the system. You know?
Right, you know, and if they need a little help along the way, I mean, you know, everybody needs a little help, you know, in life. And that would be one thing. But when you're out there and you're making babies and you ain't helping take care of them, you need a kick in the ass for that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think.
And that goes for the deadbeat mamas too. I mean, hell, I ain't showing sides because I've seen some have babies one after the other and give them away.
Right,
and
but
there's so many people that want babies can't have them.
But what do you think? Yeah, but here's the thing too is, I mean, I brought this up before, but I think that to make it fair, because as soon as conception happens, a man has no choices, right, other than be a deadbeat dad or start paying, right? So the thing is to make it fair, a man should be able to, or let's say a male should be able to sign a document that waives any rights that they would ever have for that child, but they also are not financially responsible ever, because you get to choose to have the child. Even if the man wants it and you don't, he doesn't get to have it. So that's the only way to make it fair. Let's say a man, wants you to have a baby because you're pregnant, and she goes, "Oh, I don't want to have it." Well, he can't force you to, right? But it's just as much his baby.
He should have to say into stopping that abortion, though.
But it's just as much his baby as it is yours, right? Does everybody agree with that?
That's right.
Right.
I do. I mean, hell, it goes both ways. But
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. But to make it fair, you have to be able to. Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm gonna use Scott Peterson for an example.
Uh-huh.
That girl, Amber Fry, she did not know that she was the other woman.
Yeah.
So when she met his daddy, he's like, "I know who you are," and you know what I'd have said to that? I was like, "Bitch, do you really?" I mean, that's what I'd have told him. I've got to the point in my life, don't come up at me with no attitude, because I'm gonna come back at you with it.
Yeah.
He didn't want Lacey and that baby because he wanted to be single. He wanted to be able to go out there and do his thing. Well, you know what? Walk away.
Well,
if you didn't want that, you wouldn't be single. Walk your ass away.
Well, she didn't know, right? That he was.
No, she didn't know until after.
Right.
One of her friends told her, "Did you know this is what happened?" And she's actually the one that helped get him caught.
Yeah.
Get him arrested. And if you don't want that baby, find somebody that does that's going to take care of it.
Hey, we got a call here. Let's see who this is. Hold on a second. All right, 928. You can come on, 928. Who's this? You got to unmute yourself, though. But yeah, like I was saying, I think that the system's got to make it where it's fair. I know that the courts are looking out for the child all the time, but you got to make it fair where...
Hello?
Yeah. Hey, look at this. Now we got them both on here. Sassmere and Rebel.
How you doing?
Okay, you guys go for it.
Okay.
Oh, this is great. This is great. Go ahead.
Well, hell yeah. How you doing, Sasmere, honey? I love you, baby. How you doing?
I was getting ready to go to bed, but I'm here.
Well, hell yeah. It's about time we get on here together. We can give Gray Hill at the same time.
Oh, Jesus. Here we go. I'm screwed,
I
man.
love you, Gray. No, I love you, baby. Hell.
I'm screwed, man.
Yeah, but that's KY.
Oh, jeez. How's it going, Sass Mare?
It's going, I guess. I've been battling a bug and working.
Oh,
Yeah.
Lord.
Yeah, what do you have? What kind of bug do you got?
It's one of
Tiny
those.
dumb mom.
I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, forget it then. Whoa, Jesus.
That's the kind you don't want, Gray. That's the kind you got.
It's one of those that hurts when you pee.
Oh, geez, I was going
Oh,
to say,
shit.
I was about to say you're going to need some antibiotics, okay?
Yeah, that's why I've been taking them.
Yeah,
All
go
right.
get some cranberry juice.
Oh,
Cranberry
boy.
fruit
That and
cocktail.
I've been.
Oh, boy,
Yeah,
good
it hurts
stuff.
when you pee. So yeah, it's one of those.
Oh, God.
All right. Well, tonight's show is about urinary tract infections that sometimes happen as we go through life.
No, that's what happens when you don't drink enough water when you're at work.
Yeah.
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 Hell, I hardly ever drink water. Hell, I eat ice.
Yeah, but see, you guys do sound. You guys sound like. Where are you from again? Both of you. What's
I was born in Ohio, but raised Virginia, Kentucky.
Kentucky? And then you're closer. Where are you from? Oh, you're Alabama, maybe, or Rebel Rose.
I'm from Louisiana, but I live in Arkansas.
Yeah. See, it's all the same. Kentucky, Arkansas, whatever. You know. Arkansas, yeah.
Arkansas.
We'll see.
What's
the
up,
thing
my
is, when you get me and her going at the same time, it's saying we're knocking on each other's door.
That's
That's
right.
You know,
Oh my God, you guys are. It's hilarious. So what do you think about this one?
Southern.
What do you think about these cases right here, Sassmere? The Australian ones.
Well, the Beaumonts, that's a sad case all by itself,
Yeah,
you know. And,
it's pretty similar to that first one, actually.
yeah. And it sounds like to me that this dude, he's probably, if you don't, it's just like with, I'm not trying to be bringing up something here, but it's like Delphi. You know, you don't just go in and take two girls and kill them. Right?
I agree with that.
It's like with Beaumont here, you don't just take 3 kids and do away with them. You know, and not find them.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's usually a serial
There's
killer
no
when something
way.
like that happens. It's always yeah.
He's a serial killer type.
yeah.
This wasn't his first rodeo.
I agree with you on that. That's why I'm single, because I sure as hell don't want to find nobody like that.
Seemed like he had like a technique, right? He must have used a certain trick or something. I think there's a chance that those are the same, the killer of the Beaumonts and then the first cases that we talked about, which were Joanne Ratcliffe and Kirste Gordon, the 4-year-old and the 11-year-old that were at the Australian rules football game. Seemed like it just seems so similar. Although, I mean, the technique is the same that a lot of these, you know, pedophile types do. But what's interesting, though, is in both cases there were multiple abduction, right? It wasn't just one kid. Although in the football, and those are rare, according to when we did the Delphi podcast. Those are rare, multiple abductions. Usually it's just one kid. So you have twice. One was in 66 with all 3 kids. And then in the one in, I think he found that, let's just say he found that difficult, right? And then in 73, remember he tried to get Joanne to go away because she was trying to get the 4-year-old out of his hands or whatever. And she didn't. And that ended up, but maybe he learned from the first one thinking that was difficult and he was just trying to take the individual, but then he knew that he had the ability to take both. So, I don't know.
Well, ain't that kind of like, well, hell, okay, I'm going to use this for an example. I watched the documentary on Samuel Little, where he read all those the detective magazines, and he learned his technique, how to keep the cops from catching him. Wouldn't that run along the same lines as this right here? He learned how to, he was perfecting his technique.
Yeah. I mean,
he was running state to state. He didn't just stay in one state and do it.
No, but I mean, if you're staying in one state and you learn your technique, how to throw the police off so they can't, they can't catch, because Samuel Little knew about fingerprints and all that crap before DNA. He knew not to leave that around. So wouldn't this run along the same lines?
Yeah, I mean, who knows if he abducted some of the other people that are missing children in Australia. But he was already kind of old. That's what's sort of strange. I mean, he was 86 in like 98. So that means in 73 he was 60 something. He was probably, they might want to look prior. I would look, if I was in Australia, I'd be looking at cases from the 50s through the 60s of missing children that have something similar to that. Hey, thanks, Linda Howell.
Like the same MO.
Look at that. Yep. Linda Howell with a cat eye donation coming in.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if the good Lord's willing and the creek don't rise, I'm going to be getting my disability.
Oh, there you go. Hold on. Did it freak you out or what?
That's loud.
Linda Molden Howe of the
Heart Love Ya Gray.
Ah. Look, it said, it's Linda Molden Howe of the Cattle Mutilations and the crop circles. Love you too, Linda. Awesome. All right, cool. Yeah.
Right on.
We love our freaks.
The Freak
That's
family.
Right.
Yeah.
If they don't start hitting that damn like button, there's 346 people in chat. I'm going to go visit them in their dreams and scare the living hell out of them.
Yeah, but if I was them, I would check backwards in time, because the older you get, the pedophiles, a lot of these guys are, I don't know what his motivation was, but most of the time it's sexually motivated with the pedophiles like that, but he could have been for some other thing that he was, and then it wouldn't really matter as much, but they kind of lose a lot of their desire for that stuff the older they get. Like look at DiMaggio, the East Area rapist. Like he was pretty active, and then sort of, you get older and you sort of just lose that. But this guy was still, going strong and like at 60. I mean, that's crazy. I think. I mean, I don't know if the witnesses described him as looking 60 though, in the 73 case. But
well, wouldn't their MO kind of be like the same? To a certain extent.
Well, it's weird. A lot of times there's a lot more to it than just the sexual motivation. They have a lot of times there's some weird, crazy element, and that's usually what ends up being why there's a signature for some of these people, because it's something. Right. It's not just some. Like a lot of times rapists A lot of people think, oh, it's always just about power. No, a lot of times rapists are just crazy wackos that, no women are ever attracted to them, so they just go out and attack somebody.
There's something wrong with their damn brains. That's what the hell's wrong with them.
Yeah, they're crazy people. I mean, they figured, I'll just force somebody to have sex and get the hell out of here. I wouldn't say that's a huge portion of it, but they're not always about this thing about, it's the control and power thing. I think some of them are just crazed sexual, wackos. I don't really know how to really describe it, but
I always said that it was a good damn thing and I wasn't a judge.
Yeah.
Because if they ever prove, got that right, girl, because I'm here to tell you right now, if they proved it beyond a shadow of a doubt that they did that to them babies, honey, them gators sure is hungry down there in Louisiana.
Yeah?
Well, if I was a judge, I'd hang them by their balls.
Right on a courthouse square.
Man, I'd love to see there's like 20 of you two in front of that courthouse. That'd be great.
We'd give them hell, Greg. We would.
Oh, man. And I'd give you both mics, too. That's the thing. Like a bullhorn.
They damn sure hear me in Tasmere. That's a fact.
That's right. Anyways.
I don't play when it comes to justice.
I don't either. Especially, when it comes to them babies, they're defenseless. They can't fight no adult. And
right.
You know what? I'm going to say it. I don't give a damn. That's a sick son of a bitch that would do that to a child. And then they're going to turn them bastards loose back out in society to do it again. You know what? If it's proven beyond the shadow of doubt, we got DNA. Now, hang them bastards on the courthouse square for everybody to see. This is what's going to happen to you. If you screw up, guess what? Don't turn them back out in society. The hell with that.
Well, see, that's what they do, though. They just turn them back out and they let them go. And it's like, are y'all fucking stupid? Excuse my French.
Right on.
Oh, that's French?
Oh,
wow. I always thought that was...
Yeah, that's French, baby. You got that right. You know what?
Weird.
This is the way I look at it. Fuck them. Because if they're going to hurt a baby, I ain't showing no mercy on them bastards. Fuck them.
there ain't no mercy for them.
That's right.
Hell no, no. I'm going to send them straight to hell.
See, isn't this cool, everybody? See, this is how people should think. That's the thing, everybody. The problem is we just have such a...
That will meet a brain,
our society is just full of people that are like, it was just... Yeah, we can fix it with medication if we just give them the right type of counseling and some medication. If we just maybe if they hold hands with other people and sing Kumbaya or maybe even Hey Yama a couple times. It's total crap. Okay.
There ain't no medication that fixes that.
The hell no.
Yeah.
I got something that'll fix it. I'm here to tell you that right now. I told one the other day on another channel, I told them to fuck off because they said, well, people just lost IQ points for reading your comment. And it was over a damn pedophile. You know what? Don't come to me with that shit because I am old school all the damn way.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, you watch.
I got 357 that says that their ass will get it.
Well, you watch. In about 10 years, there's going to be another letter on the long acronym. It'll be a P. The protected class will now be. It'll start with a P. I've told you guys that.
The pedophile class is what it'll fucking be.
Well, it will be. You go look it up on the internet, and there are these hard left groups out there that are literally trying to make the case, and the argument. You want to hear something, everybody? The argument. One time I was doing it on a channel just to show the hypocrisy of people, so I did it. I did the counter argument, the argument saying if they do not practice being one,
the pedophiles, they are born that way. So that's the thing, everybody. They're born that way. So once you realize that this is the argument that's made. Okay, I'm doing it right now. They're born that way, so they cannot help who they are and who they're attracted to. So, therefore, if they're not practicing and there's no victim, we must then accept them into society and accept them as being teachers and other people like that to work with kids. Okay?
You know what?
That's the argument that's being made. And actually, it fits the argument of other situations that are also, so it's going to be crazy. I'm just telling you, it is insane. I know you say nope. Everybody says nope, no way, all this kind of stuff. Go look it up. Okay? On your spare time.
I believe every word you say, but you know what I got to say to that?
There's TED
Fuck
Talks
them.
out there.
If they are non-practicing, they going to do it. Sooner or later, they going to do it.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's who they're attracted to, okay? But you are going to be shamed if you do not allow your kid to be taught by a pedophile as long as they're not practicing, okay? So you're going to be shamed to feel that way.
Yeah, you know what I say to that?
Well, you
I
watch.
don't give a flying fuck.
I know. That's what normal people say, the smart people, okay? It's
Got
the
that right.
idiots
and
out
we are
there.
smart.
Now, so what I'm trying to tell you...
I take mine to the fucking mountains is what I'll be doing, and you let this somebody come up there and see what I do. Them fuckers, they won't find them.
Yeah, go look at
They ain't
the...
gonna touch my kid.
Go watch the TEDx talk on it. Just type it in, TEDx, blah, 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 the whole thing. And this lady gets up and talks for 5 minutes. And at the end, the crowd claps for her argument. So once you see that they're clapping, you realize, wow, okay. So now it's slowly creeping in, being accepted. And here, the thing is, everybody, this is how, like in the 50s, I mean, everybody in our country right now is accepting of gays and lesbian and everything like that. And because there's no victim and everybody it's okay, right? But the thing is as long as there's no victim, they can't control who they're attracted to. We're going to have to all accept it, right? You watch.
I ain't gonna accept the damn thing.
Right. But see, that was an argument. And the thing is, it took time. But now in society, gays and lesbians are all accepted in, and they should be. I'm okay. It doesn't bother me one bit, okay? I'm just saying...
But I'm trying to think some they have worked with the best of them.
Yeah, I'm just saying that they're going to use the same argument in that class at some point. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
I got news for them. They ain't gonna teach mine a damn thing, because I will take them to the mountains and I will teach them school.
Well, there you go. Yeah. So you aren't going to be allowed to think, though, the way you want to think, okay? Because there's going to be thought police out there, and everybody's going to have to do exactly what everybody else wants you to think. You can't have a conversation.
Bullshit. They don't call me fucking rebel for nothing.
All right. We need some more Rebel Roses. And Sass Mayor.
Got that right.
Still here.
She's still there. It just hurts to go to the bathroom, huh?
Well, I'm okay on that now. I've been taking all kinds of antibiotics.
Yeah?
That works. Yeah, it pissed me off because they turn them back out and decide they do it again, but they need a second chance. Fuck that.
Erythromycin, right?
Yep.
No, amoxicillin.
Oh, amoxicillin? Okay.
But,
I get so damn mad.
I don't
Hey.
care. I don't care who you sleep with. I don't. That's none of my freaking business.
Right on.
But now, when you bring children into it, that's my business.
Right, but here's the thing. See, that's where you gotta remove that part from the argument. They're non-practicing. Okay, so that means they came out. They came out of the closet. Hold on, they came out of the closet and they identified as being, the P. And so they identify, but they're non-practicing. They realize that ever acting out on it would make a victim.
So at that point, once they do that, you are going to be shamed for not allowing them to be your teacher, your kid's teacher at school. Because they're not practicing. And how dare you be so close-minded?
I guess I'll be shamed.
Yeah.
They ain't gonna shame me because I'm not gonna how fucking stupid are you, bitch.
Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah, see, it makes you angry just even thinking about it. But trust me when I tell you, that's not too many years off. I bet you within the next 10 years or so, especially seeing where the political winds are blowing. Okay.
I believe it, but I'm gonna tell you what, them motherfuckers is gonna have a straight up fucking battle for me, and they ain't gonna win.
Yeah.
Well, nobody tell me what the fuck to do. That's why I'm single, because they ain't gonna suck my dick. I don't care.
Oh, God. Jesus. Well, I don't think that made the algorithms. I think the F's were okay, but that last part.
I ask myself, but they piss me off. That's what I tell them. Don't be fucking with mine.
Yeah.
I ain't got no dick, but I'm gonna tell you one thing right now. They can go suck one.
Yeah.
You think I won't tell them?
Oh, you might. I could see it.
No, I ain't might to it. You goddamn right I will. Lord, forgive me. I didn't mean to say that.
No, there is. Right, as long as they don't, if they never, see.
I done got mad.
Well, Zozo said there's no such thing as a non-practicing, the P. But the thing is, it's not true. Well, it's not true, because if they didn't ever do anything with a kid, then that means they're non-practicing. Right? So then you're punishing them for their thoughts, right? So then you have to punish them for their thoughts.
How do you...
But the thing is, I would never want a kid of mine being taught by somebody that you knew was attracted to kids. I think you would always be... I just don't think anybody should have to be put in that situation ever. So I don't know why.
I agree with you on that. I promise you, this red ain't right from hell.
Yeah. Yeah. So, anyways, there's that. So I don't know. In these cases we talked about tonight, those first two seem like they could be related. The last one not, but that one seems just like the Patrick Frazee case. That last one.
It does.
Very similar. Right?
It does. I mean, you start to look at it, and the kids, like you're talking about, they look at the cases back from the 50s and the 60s, and they look at the similarities. They'll find where the connection is.
Yeah, I think they should go back in time. They shouldn't start with 66. They should go back from like 1950 on, because he would have been... Well, let's see. They said he was 86 and like 98, so that means he would. Let's see, 98. If he went back 30 years, would be 68. He would have been 56. So in 66, he was 56, right? Yeah.
Right.
So that's that's crazy right there, because that means, by the time, if he was the one responsible for the other Joanne, he would have been 60 something. Right? So that means you can go back 66 if he was 56. Let's say he started when he was 30. That means you can go back to 1940 even, when he was 26.
Well, he started before then. I mean, look how far back that would go.
Yeah. So it's crazy, right?
I mean, you just don't up and start doing this shit when you get grown.
Yeah.
You gotta be starting it whenever you're young on doing that. And that's where you need to take them to the damn woodshed and wear that ass out and break them.
Jeez.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
hey, I didn't even get to the woodshed. I just took to the bedroom or living room, wherever it was.
Got that right. Make it a damn woodshed.
Wore out.
Yeah. No, I'm not taking any more calls, Christola. I'm not sure why you're so interested in you keep wanting to be able to call in. So, not sure what you're doing. You mentioned a case, then you wanted to call in. I'm not talking about
those other cases right this minute. You can send me an email, and it's not a link either. It's a phone number. Wow! Wow!
Wowza.
Yeah.
You know, people,
It's not a link.
that's part of what's wrong with America today. There's a difference between disciplining your child and teaching them respect than beating your child. Now, if you're gonna teach them respect, that's one thing.
Yeah. I don't normally.
America's lost respect.
Yeah, I was gonna say
You know what I'm
I don't normally do people. Well, I say that part again because everyone's like, oh, I want to, I don't do panels. Okay, I only have these two up because they sound similar, and I thought it'd be fun for a minute. Okay, normally I wouldn't have two people on just talking. It's just one. All right. So go ahead, say that part again.
Okay, if you're gonna whip a child, to teach that child respect and what they did wrong. I got my butt whipped, didn't hurt me a damn bit. Well, at the time it did.
Yeah, I got spanked my whole life. My mom broke tons of wooden spoons on my ass. Okay?
I didn't get that, but all right, you learn respect, right?
But I've never been in jail. I've never even been arrested or anything. I mean, so the thing is, it's like, that
Same
stuff
here.
actually works, See, being
That's
spanked
what's wrong
works.
with America today.
Yep.
That's been taken away from the parents. Not to discipline your child, teach your child respect. So therefore, they go out here and they think it's okay to kill somebody or to kidnap them and rape them and kill them or do something to these little babies out here. No, it ain't.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you sit and you talk about it, you think about it. All right, what was it in the 80s? Whenever they started saying you couldn't whip your children, whenever the hell they started it. All right, whenever that stopped, that's whenever all hell broke loose in America. She gonna fall flat on her face. You watch, on account they don't want to teach discipline anymore.
Oh, yeah.
See, my mom and dad both,
I totally agree
stepdad,
with that.
taught me respect real quick.
It's just like kids nowadays, it's a whole thing where when it's hard to say, but it all comes from a certain direction politically, okay? It's like all of a sudden you have these people that say, hey, kids are little people too, so they should have decisions that they're making. And the parents, they need to be taken out of the equation a little bit more. And I think we just need to think of them as little people. And, and here's a number you can call for CPS if you ever get spanked. And let's give
I wonder what the hell they're smoking.
let's give you all trophies for everything, just for competing. And God, it's so wonderful. It's just, it makes me just sick. Okay, how come? It's amazing because kids were a lot better like a long time ago. They were always well behaved. Not when I say always, I mean way more as a percentage. A long time ago, everybody
and you
too.
What you got. You earn what you got. You work for it. You didn't go out and steal it.
Yeah.
Well, so I'll give you for instance. I went to school. Me and this girl got in a fight in the bathroom, and she hit me. I hit her. She hit me. I hit her. We had a brawl right in the bathroom. Okay, went to the office because we was fighting, and they paddled me for it. Okay, my mom was like, okay, did she hit you? And I said, yeah. And she's like, did you hit her back? And she's like, I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
And she said, and then what happened? I said, I got her paddling for taking my part. Well, she went to the school and she was like, you going to paddle my daughter for taking her part? She said, I'll whoop your ass next.
Right on.
Yeah, I remember when I was in
I was raised.
When I was in New Mexico, when I went to school there, we used to get spanked where
I never got spanked, but like this one kid, he always got spanked. Now I'm sort of wondering because the teacher would pull his pants down in class and like bend her over, you know, and then spank. And now I'm thinking back, man, was that person really? I don't know. It just seems weird. I mean, I think if I'm not for, I know how it used to be. I'm not for having the school spank anybody's kids. That just seems strange.
I mean,
that's weird.
that's degrading. I mean, do you know how to do that in front of your classmates?
Oh God, that kid's probably in prison. He probably turned out like just horribly humiliated. You know,
If he's still alive, I mean, hell.
Yeah, I know.
You want to live through that?
No, it was, now that I think back, it just seems ludicrous. Okay, it's not. It was unbelievable. Man, it was unreal.
There's ways to handle things, and then there's ways you don't handle things.
Yeah, that was like
I promise you, that teacher would have more of his damn pants down when I got done with his ass.
Yeah, that was like 1972 or something like that. That's weird. Think back to that. Yeah, that's wild. I'm glad that stuff's gone. You know, you know that stuff was a little much. Parents should. I don't think parents shouldn't be able to spank their kids. I know that there's some that they turn it into an abuse moment, but most parents don't do that. And a lot of people think there's more effective ways. I just don't. I don't know. I don't think so. You know, people are willing. Like the pain of being spanked at that moment makes you go, oh, forget it. I'm never doing this again, you know?
Well, I did smack my son's hands quite a few times.
Yeah.
You know, just because he would put his hands in something I didn't think he needed to put his hands in.
I don't even think teachers should be able to spank a kid. I don't think a teacher should be able to ever physically, unless they're stopping. If a teacher's being pummeled by a student, they should be able to pummel the student back. Okay? But, like for punishment purposes, a teacher should never be able to dole out any sort of physical punishment to a child or a student of any, ever. I think it's ludicrous, you know? Think about that. I mean, what?
Well, see, I taught my son to take up for the smaller children, and they had handicapped children at their school. And I taught him to take up for them. Don't let the bigger kids pick on them. And he got in a fight one day. And the teacher had this big old paddle, and he was fixing to paddle him. He said, you better call my mama. No, I ain't. He said, oh, yeah, I'm telling you, you better call my mama. I mean, this dude's like 6'2", and I walked up in his damn office. And, well, I got a paper. I'm like, let me see that paper. Well, it had his sperm donor's name on it, and I tore it up and threw it in space. And I said, I'll tell you what. I said, you hit my kid, I'm going to wrap that damn paddle up in barbed wire, and I'm going to stick it up your ass sideways. Don't you ever try to whip my kid again.
And there you go. Well,
I probably wouldn't have had the barbed wire, but I'd have damn sure stuck a paddle up his ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the wooden paddle they used.
Yeah, them things leave marks. They leave bruises, and some of them, you got kids that's on blood thinners and stuff, medications that make their blood thin when they're young. Oh, hell no.
No. All right. Yeah. Well, I think I'm gonna get off here in a few minutes. I'm gonna go lay down.
Yeah, my battery's about to die.
I'm stressed out. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just listening. Thinking about all this stuff makes me, like, sometimes just, whoa. You know. Makes me angry.
Up.
Yep. So.
Okay, all you freaks, smash that like button.
Yes, did you hear that? Hit that like button.
That's right, or I'm going to come visit you in your dreams if you don't.
Yeah, let me play this. Here we go. I think it'll work.
I'm fired out of it, 10 down,
Hit
15.
Here, do it with me. Hit the like button, 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 hit the like button. Come on, you guys do it. You can do it too, right?
30, 25, 30. You want to put 30, sir. 25, bam, you're out.
Come on.
30, now 5.
No, you got to do it with me, though. Can you guys hear the music? Can you hear
Yeah.
the...
Yeah.
Okay, you got to be doing 20, 25, 30. Here we go.
5,
28, 25.
down 15, on the line, bear on 15,
The hell with that.
on 15, 20.
Oh, you can't do it?
Bear on 15,
Ah,
bear on 20, down 5,
20, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button.
Bear on 25, bear on 30, 30, now 5, I'm 30.
Chewbacca?
Chewbacca?
Oh, I'll do Chewbacca if you want.
That one's the best.
But, hey, I love y'all. I'm going to get off here, y'all. Y'all have
All
a
right.
great night.
All right.
Try to
Hey.
go get some rest, honey.
Okay. Hey.
Jasmine, love you, baby.
All right. See you guys.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
See ya. Love you, Sassmere. Rebel Rose.
Love you too.
All right. Get better. All right.
I will.
All right. See ya.
Night.
Night. See that? I told you it'd be cool to have on Rebel Rose and Sassmere. In this corner, it's Sassmere and Rebel Rose in the other corner. And you guys should do like a wrestling match or something. All right, everybody. Well, thank you guys all for showing up tonight. I hope you guys found those stories at least interesting. I know Zozo didn't like how I didn't pronounce everything absolutely correctly. I didn't find the exact location on the map, but you know how I looked stuff up. I knew that that wasn't the right spot because it didn't intersect with the right street. And so then a few minutes later, I get the right one. So it's just the way it is. Just you don't need to be helping out in the chat every second typing something in. I'll figure it out most of the time. If I ask, like, oh my god, I'm screwed, then it's okay. Thanks, Swerbs! Swerbs. Yep. Oh, there it is. Okay, so thank you to, hold on, Meredith McKenzie with a double cat eye donation, Alley Cat, Linda Howe, Michael Callahan. And tonight he wasn't even talking about the dungarees. It was amazing. But thanks, Michael Callahan. He kept trying to get the wave started for me. Michael Callahan 3 times, I think. Linda Howe, Mary Clark, Dadio Caspian Horses Rock, Nan Sullivan, and there's the other Michael Callahan. Nona 617. Then Lee D, Mary Clark, Meredith McKenzie again. Wow. Sarita. Then Juju Positive with a $31.13 donation. And then Linda Howell, as in Linda Molden Howe of the Cattle Mutilations, Swerbs, and Dadio Caspian Horses Rock. And Zozo didn't send one of her normal $1.99 ones because she thought I was
So mean.
Yeah. Well, thanks everybody. I really appreciate it. So I don't know if I'm gonna do a flyby or not. Let's see. Yep, no 87 cents, huh? Jesus, thanks a lot. Yeah, I had Juju Positive's husband's in one of the images now. What was that music? Wait, hold on one second. Was it this one? No. I'm looking for that one that I like. No.
There we go. You could break dance to this one. Just picture someone doing the robot to all these different. It's like the Addams Family. I know this doesn't sound like porn to me. I think it's more the other ones.
Now that's definitely some lounge music there. And this one's actually called Ultra Lounge Music. The Love Boat. Exciting and new. Yeah. Come aboard. We're expecting you. The Love Boat. Yeah.
Oh, Mary Lou, you know how to do some of this too. Let me try it. The Love Boat.
Yeah, that doesn't sound very good, okay?
Gosh, you're so mean.
Well, so what? You're mean to me all the time.
Well, not really.
No?
No.
Wow, that was so cool, wasn't it though, John Boy?
Hello? Are you talking to me?
Yeah, that's what we do at the end of the show, right? No? Okay. Alright, see you later, John Boy. Sheesh, what a maroon. Who the hell?
I don't think anybody says, what a maroon, right? That's like in the 1920 cartoons, right? Anyways, all right, everybody. Thank you all for showing up today. Make sure you, wash your hands, maintain your social distancing, and wear a mask. And that part isn't funny, everybody. Make sure you do it. All right, everybody. So thank you very much. And everybody for watching, hitting the like button, contributing to the channel so we can do the donations, and supporting my channel at the same time. Thank you very much. And as I always say, everybody, until next time, be safe out there.
Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person That is a crime dissector, thug rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector.
Gonna get you.
On a stretcher.
Hey, what are you doing?
And play me like an old projector.
Crime sector. Use my nectar.
Professor Grayl's gonna give another lecture.
Crime collector, freak
A maroon?
and I'm always gonna be a pup protector. Fool deflector.
No, you said maroon.
Interceptor.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector on his pector. With all respect, y'all. Just remember I've a temper fucking check ya.
I have no agenda.
I'm a remember.
And I'll serve it to you straight without the blender.
And in the end,
I'm gonna send ya
on a mission
to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back.
All right, okay, that was really cool. Weren't those the most interesting cases you've ever heard in your entire life, John Boy?
Yeah, I mean, they were interesting. I don't know if they're in my entire life.
Well, can you just work with me for once?
Oh, okay. Yeah, man, those are the greatest cases I've ever heard in my entire life. They were fantastic.
Well, that's a little bit overboard now, don't you think?
Oh, you're the one that told me to do it.
Oh, God, do we just never get along? All right, everybody, good night, John Boy.
Good night, Mary Lou.
Yeah, that is my last name.
I mean, good night, Mary Lou.
Okay, that's better.
Oh boy, well, she is. She reminds me a little bit of Chloe. You know, just all over the place. It's unreal. It's unreal. But anyways, thank you guys for showing up tonight. I'll leave the chat on for you guys to chat away for a while if you'd like to. All right. I appreciate you guys showing up to the show. And be safe out there.
Goodbye, everybody. Gee.
Wait, do I get to say goodbye too?
Well, just say it then.
Okay, goodbye, everybody.
What in the hell was that?